0으로 이기고만 있을 때만 해도 아 그냥 3대 0으로 끝나겠구나 했는데 이제 패패 승승승으로 끝나는 거 보니까 되게 재밌게 지켜봤던
We
것
have a
같아요.
lot of time. It seems.
자
like.
그렇다면 퍼펙트 선수 사실 지난 2년간
gonna be a
젠지를
long-
가장
long
많이
interview.
잡아낸 팀이 KT 롤스터거든요. 오늘 경기 예감은 어떤가요?
How much time?
이제 대진이 약간 작년 월즈가 생각나더라고. 아마 3대 1로 이기지 않을까라는 생각으로 임할 것 같습니다.
이 얘기를 듣고 기인 선수 어떤 생각이 드시나요?
뭐 사실 이 얘기를 듣고 크게 뭐 엄청 막 그런 생각보다는 그냥 오늘은 네, 작년의 복수를 해주겠습니다.
좋습니다. 자 그렇다면 오늘 서로 두 분에게 각각 한 말씀씩 해주신다면요. 먼저 퍼펙트 선수가 기인 선수에게.
기인 형 재밌게 하자.
네, 승민아 열심히 재밌게 해보자.
네, 서로 눈을 쳐다보지 않고 각각 한마디씩 해줬습니다. 자, 그렇다면 내일 최종전이 있는데 그 진출을 위한 각오 한 말씀 들어보겠습니다. 먼저 기인 선수.
MSI를 이제 가기 위해서 꼭 이겨야 되는 경기라고 생각해서 열심히 임해보겠습니다.
저도 KT 롤스터 이름 달고 꼭 MSI 가고 싶어가지고 최대한 열심히 해보겠습니다.
네, 오늘 두
Suaranya
선수
si
최선을
Perfect
다해서
Person
멋진
kayak
경기
balik
펼치시기를
sekarang ya?
응원하겠습니다. 지금까지 퍼펙트 선수,
sorry.
기인 선수와 인터뷰 나눠봤습니다.
Thank you, Heji, with both those absolute giga chads. And as you guys heard, I'm pretty sure that was definitely not scripted. He called him out.
It wasn't.
All right.
Moment, like he's just got insane reaction speed for the zoom out.
Where did Keen come from?
Yeah, like he just appeared.
Into the perfect frame as well.
Yeah.
Wow. We have a talented crew here.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Great job, LCK cameraman. As it's time for our LCK crew predictions. And yes, as we've set up a lot on this desk, it might be roller coastering one way. Probably this way.
yeah.
No way!
Go this way. Wait, 1 second. So every single talent in the global side.
Look,
Oh my
there's
god.
one.
Oh my god.
There's one guy. One guy pony.
He ruined!
He did ruin it a little bit.
He actually ruined
He
it.
has done
He
ruined it for
before.
KT
He has
fans.
done this before. He's a known KT hater. I'm pretty sure he's always trying to put them down. Why does he do this? Why does he do this?
I'm stunned. I'm stunned. What is the angle?
What did he mean by this?
Yeah. Well, I was able to chat with Pony. I went into the Korean talent room to be like, Pony,
Yes.
what's going on here? And he goes, Digon, it's hard to explain.
Yeah, I'll bet.
And that's all he said. He said, it's hard to explain. I was like, I'm going to tell people that's what he said. He's like, it's hard to explain.
Yeah, I think so. I'm looking at the other golden predictions here,
Yeah.
and I'm starting to wonder, what the reason rationale is. There's another prediction here that's a little bit wild and out there.
Gogo.
Coco's
Go with 3-2.
gamer.
I feel like the 3-2 is a little bit surprising as well. I mean, maybe he believes in the reverse sweep as well.
I don't know, man. I feel like that's kind of a questionable thing. I'm not sure if we have the most recent history. Do we have the recent history of KT in the underdog match?
Well, I mean, we have predicted against them in the past.
Oh.
And, a few
Oh my
times.
God.
And then PDD is smiling.
No one is
PDD
ever
thumbs up.
believing
The cry? Oh, the cry.
KT.
I love the
Just going
perfect like
in.
that. You know, it's so good.
Gak ada yang
It's so
percaya
good.
sama KT anjir.
So, a vote against KT perhaps is a vote
No
for
one trusts KT, by the way.
ultimately, when you least expect it.
But then what is a vote for KT? Like what Pony did? Did he just ruin it?
Yeah.
That's why I say he's known anti-KT.
If you are a KT fan, you'd never want to cheer
There's
for him.
two things. Yesterday, I predicted T1 3-0, and then they didn't make up. And second, you can see the picture, the middle part. You can see what he predicted Genji 3-0 again, and it didn't happen. What about now? Now I gotta ask something, you know,
Okay, you
because
gotta
I've been asking for a season,
All season.
all season. Do you trust KT now? Because everyone is predicting Genji to win, but now it's the momentum, right? We all know the storylines. When everyone is not predicting KT, KT is winning. So maybe I intentionally predicted Genji to make this drama happen.
That's some dumb voodoo magic.
What, dude?
How do you
Trust KT!
I'm going with don't.
Oh my
I do
god!
not trust.
What?
0% trust. All your theories are stupid. There's no way they're going to win a single game. They're going to lose every early game. Genji's going to snowball with the macro. Ain't no way KT's going
There will be no
MSI.
comebacks, there will be no team fights. Amy will not be able to do anything. Kaz and BDD will play as they did in the second part of this season. And it will be an absolute disaster to be a KT fan.
But the thing
Which
is,
we like as a KT fan.
No, there is no thing.
There's no thing on
but
it.
the thing is, Pony actually ruined it though. Pony has some expectations. That's the issue. So maybe I'm a bit worried.
I think Pony's vote's not real. He just
What do you mean it's not real?
We did
he's
the,
just messing around.
What do you
showed the
mean?
upset graphic, right? When we showed the upset graphic, I checked. Pony's vote was in every single one. I was like, maybe Pony's vote isn't in one of those, and you know, he's like, oh, I get to vote in a KT game where they're going to be.
He didn't have any analytical reasoning besides it's hard to explain, which it is. So I'm kind of feeling like maybe his doesn't count here. And KT have no chance.
You
Yeah,
called it at
absolutely
the
none.
top. It is a David versus Goliath type matchup here. It is going to be a tough task for KT, but we've seen them in the past against this squad
Let's
rise to the
go,
occasion.
KT.
Will they
You
be
can
able
do
to
it.
do it here in
I
Wonju
trust you.
and live another day, or will Gen G continue on with their dominance? Let's find out. We'll see.
KT gonna win, chat. I just know it. I just know KT gonna win. I just know it. I just know KT.
영광을 향해 걸어가는 수많은 자들. 그 끝에서 자신을 증명하는 건 단 한 팀에게만 허락됩니다.
국제전 우승이 바로 제 첫 커리어다 보니까 더 행복했고 여러 가지 생각이 좀 많이 든 것 같았어요.
듀로 선수가 엄청 잘 하시더라고요. 놀랐습니다. 그래서 제가 쉬면서 경기도 보고 했는데 이게 하는 것만큼 결국 재밌진 않더라고요. 보는 게 계속 껴오르는 게 있었고 그것 때문에 다시 복귀하게 됐습니다.
Let's go, effort.
휴식을 취하다
Show them you're the best
떨어질
T1
수밖에
support
없을 것
back
같은데
then.
보트 선수는 쉬었음에도 불구하고 다시 복귀하셔서 좋은 성적을 내니까 저는 리스펙하다고 생각합니다.
Kemana aja, Mas? Gua tiap hari live anjir.
처음 올라섰던 정상에 다시 다가가는 걸음. 오랜 방황 끝에 다시 돌아오는 걸음. 각자의 걸음엔 그들만의 이유가 있지만 목적은 단 하나. 그 끝에 오르는 것입니다. 그리고 그 걸음이 겹치는 이곳은 단 한
Satu tiket
팀에게만
lagi
다음을
menuju
허락합니다.
MSI.
네, 올해 이미 젠지 한번 뭐 잡았는데 2번이라고 못 이길까요?
아, 말도 안 되게 잘해요. 또 어디까지 가려고 이러는 거예요?
롤러코스터가 오르막길을 탔다고 생각하시는 것 같은데요. 저희가 내리막길로 바꿔드리겠습니다.
Come on, Aiming.
젠지가 완벽할 때의 흐름으로 돌아갔습니다.
We're gonna trust you now.
영광으로 향하는 하나의 길. 단한
T1
팀에게만
gimana masuk
허락된
MSI?
다음 걸음.
T1 ada di
모두
lower
팀
bracket sekarang.
MSI 최종 라운드 진출전 지금 시작합니다.
Jadi yang menang di sini nanti lawan T1. Weh, cosplay Loki. Damn. Tuh enak tuh kayaknya kopi. Kopi apa es teh itu? Gosok gigi anjir si ruler. What the? Did he just brush his tooth? Perfect tidur anjir. Ruler gosok gigi. Gak mandi anjing.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the road to MSI here for round 4. No one is going to be stamping a ticket to MSI today, but one team will be going home out of KT and Gen.G. As we heard in the pre-show, everyone trying their very best
Asli,
to
gue yang
tiptoe
stres
around
anjir.
getting an E word. And that is a very difficult thing to do and something that we're going to have to also do here today, Ox.
No, all the global side predicted 3-0 for Gen.G.
You know what? So
Minimal excitement.
is Pony the biggest Gen.G fan of all time?
I think that's the only indicator we can actually take away from this.
That's what I think it is too, because that response,
Jadi yang
and
suka menang Hanwha Lab
that
ya?
response
Iya,
from Digon,
Hanwha
that
Lab
Digon
seed
got from
1.
Pony
Dia
is very
bisa dibilang regular
It's
season
hard to
champion harusnya
explain
berarti.
means you didn't correctly predict.
It's hard to explain. That is such a...
Just
no
listen. The whole point of a prediction is that you can explain it.
You know what? I'm putting that into my repertoire. I'm going to use that more often. You ask me a question in game, you're like, they're 10,000 gold down. How are they winning fights? It's hard to explain.
You know what? I need that to be your comment. After this series, no matter who wins, you need to vote for someone that doesn't make sense and just say it's hard to explain. That would be perfect. Having a look here at the fan prediction, you can see obviously Gen.G with a little bit more, but a fair bit extra faith from the KT fans coming over from X.
Although, if we're talking about... Okay.
Anjir, 90 banding 10%.
Maybe the
Wow.
KT fans...
Even the investor doesn't trust them.
Maybe some of the Gen.G fans as well getting on in
The
there. Let's have a look
prediction
at
is
it one
pretty
more time.
wild today.
Wait for it. There it is. 3-2 as well. And so we're going to be holding on to this. If Gen.G are up 2-0 in this series, Pony's like, I've got him exactly where I want him. You know? Like, oh my goodness.
Look,
is he explaining?
He's saying a lot more there.
Oh, he is.
He's saying a lot more that it's hard to explain.
So we're going to need full translation, and I will read it out if there is ever a lull in today's series,
Maybe
because we need to know.
Maybe the full sentence was it's hard to explain in English.
Yeah, maybe he just said it's hard to
Tapi
explain
masa
multiple
gak ada
times in
T1.
Korean. And then Kasujun was like, no, you can
Kayaknya
have to
si
try it more.
Gen.G
And then he
Kayaknya
said
si
it
KT
more.
bakal
Or maybe
menang
he just
terus
didn't wanna
nanti
speak to
kalah sama
T1
T1 sih.
Also, very viable.
Honestly, that's valid as well.
Honestly, that's what can happen, I
Man,
think.
I'm really excited for this series. Mainly excited for Gen.G, and I am just there for KT, right? Because we're not allowed to be E-word when it comes to KT. I've said the word a couple of times. Probably shouldn't. But I'm worried. Yeah, I am worried because when it comes to setting expectations, KT have done actually the best possible job at making
Aku sebagai yang pingin Hanwha Lab T1 ke MSI, aku aminkan.
as possible.
T1 gak mungkin kalah
And that
sih.
is where they thrive.
I think T1 is just gonna win and then
And
just
now
gonna
it's
go to
time for us
MSI.
to welcome the teams to Wonju here. As of course, KT and Gen.G not been on this stage just yet. T1 waiting in
Carry
the
the team,
final
please.
tomorrow. We'll see who they are going to be competing against. As first up, Keen is going to make his way out.
Keen.
An absolute monster of the top lane.
Absolutely such a wide champion pool, capable of playing so many styles so well. But perfect on the other side, a player who has stepped up massively for KT. So much of their success this season
Come
has
on,
been down
perfect.
to this player.
And his
Gila,
name
the
went
best
from
top laner
ironic
in
to accurate
in
over this
LCK
year.
right now.
That's what it feels like.
Keen
This
and
man
perfect.
has been incredible.
So many times taking matchups where he's looking to take over the lane, playing things like the Vayne, and just being an absolute menace. So I'm excited for this top lane matchup, which is not something I expected to be saying last year.
Oh no.
But Perfect has massively stepped up his game and really reaching the potential we'd hope he could eventually hit.
And Keen had a bit of a slower start, but has definitely made it back to some semblance of his former glory. It's just so weird talking about a Gen.G that didn't come out of the gates absolutely swinging to the fences. We now have our top laners in position. I don't know.
Come on now.
I don't know whether this is going to be once again one of those tales of Perfect just being the guy in the top lane, the absolute rock, and being able to take things over the line for KT like they were able to do
Let's go,
against D+
Cass.
here, with Shio actually performing pretty well. But it's going to come down, I think, to these two gentlemen that are about to make their way out, starting with Canyon here on Gen G's side. He's been pretty good. This round robin especially.
Absolutely has been a player who so many junglers say is their favorite jungler, player with such a huge legacy. Got up against Cuz, who was a massive driving force in KT's upsets last year against Gen G, taking them to the World Finals, that big voice on the team that they needed in those big moments.
And he's going to need to be that again, because I have a feeling that KT might need a little bit of extra enthusiasm moving towards this series, because Gen G are looking incredibly formidable.
Good use of different E word there.
Yeah, it still started with E, which was problematic. I was like, what's a simile?
It felt like he just swerved it a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't great. I think I still basically hit the pothole, but I did move the steering wheel, which is, it's just making the car ride even worse. Let's be honest. But these two gentlemen are going to have their work cut out for them, I think, today. As junglers, I think, have been really under a microscope, especially on this patch. And these two might be able to make it a little bit easier for them. Chovy versus BDD.
Also, what is
both
this
of
music?
them formerly the star players of
The
Gen
music
G
choice is a bit
themselves.
weird.
BDD now moving over, but Chovy really coming into his own towards this end of the season.
This matchup was just so often a 3-2 watch. Before last year, these two mid laners go head-to-head in some massive matches. And I can't wait to see what we get on the Rift, especially
BDD
when
kenapa
these
kelihatan
two
depresi
teams
banget ya?
have had a good amount of time
Man
to
up,
prep.
man.
Yeah.
They're
You're gonna
gonna
win
bring out
this.
things like BDD, Zoe, absolute classic, but will we get something new, something different, especially with it being a best of 5, especially
Man up, BDD.
with it
You're gonna
being
win this.
fearless.
Come on.
Both these mid laners absolutely.
Why he look so depressed?
Yep, and we also know that Chovy is known to get into the kitchen as well with a few of his picks. So we'll see whether he dusts off something from the past or whether he does have something new planned for that mid lane. Because we have seen, you know, the Lissandra came out yesterday. We've
Sebelum
had some
kayak Genji,
new
Kin
things
kemana?
brewing,
Kin dulunya di
around the league, and this is going to be a fresh
Hanwha
take,
Live.
right? These are two fresh teams. We'll see what their idea of the draft is going to look like and whether we do get to some of those more interesting picks further down the line in games. Perhaps
Hanwha
3,
Live
4,
Griffin,
5.
I think.
We get to 5 man, I'm going to be talking to Pony. I'm like, if it's that hard to explain, how do you know?
Yeah.
You know? That's what I'm going to be trying to figure out. We keep going back to it, but I can't get it out of my
So
mind.
sharing his secrets in this situation.
He's going to have to afterwards. I'm going to grill him, 100%. As Ruler and
Anjay,
aiming to make their way out.
Ruler.
First, of course.
I really
Has
like
been
his
pretty
necklace.
good, you could say, for Gen G.
Katie juga gak sih?
And
Oh
I
iya,
do
Katie
like
juga
that he's
pernah.
bringing out some more eclectic picks as well. Ruler definitely known more as a marksman.
Kenapa player
Has
RCK
been
kayak gak ada yang
playing those
ekspresif?
mages as well.
Playing those mages, practicing getting up to speed.
Gak tahu gue juga.
and riding the pool. And on the other
I don't
side
know.
is the Gold King aiming. Big factor in that matchup against D+, able to be the carry that they needed when it got to those late game situations at a player.
Soalnya ada budayanya sih. Kalau di Korea, kalau terlalu percaya diri, guys, itu mereka kalah. Kayak ada ajarannya gitu loh, budayanya gitu, culture-nya. If you too confident, you're going to
The way
lose.
that they managed to stabilize after like catastrophic early games that has been very impressive for KT, but it also has been a worry at the same time. They shouldn't be getting themselves into those
Pamali,
positions.
eta
And we saw
pisan.
Team Plus basically win 5 games in a row, or four games in a row against KT and still get eliminated from the tournament. And that is because you have to destroy the Nexus. That's the most important part. And KT do manage to do that by getting behind aiming. These supports, though, we did hear them in the intro, which was very, very fun. Effort and Duro with some choice words for one another. But I think
Duro makin kinclong aja ya.
But we do know, like,
Duro
we saw this
kurusan tau.
yesterday out of Delight, bringing back the engaged supports. Duro was that guy.
Effort!
He absolutely was, and I think we're seeing,
My goat.
even though we're getting a lot less of those brain supports, the 2v2 still so important in bot lane, but we're seeing more melee supports. Those engages were so important down to those support players yesterday. And Effort, this new addition that came into KT and seemingly fixed so many of the problems after the LCK Cup.
Yeah.
A miracle worker, given the state they started the year in, and looking to continue that momentum and see if they can go just that bit further and make it to MSI.
See whether they can do it. It would
Girl.
be pretty unbelievable. But they have done it in this position before, right? This is the best of 5 before the last best of 5. When was the last time this happened?
Oh no.
Yeah. And it was this exact matchup. I remember it was
Apakah
my
bakal
last
seseru kemarin atau bakal 3-0 KT?
with Chronicler. Do you remember that guy?
Kalau
You see it
kalau
last time?
3-0 pasti Genji.
Well, that was
Kalau
the last
misalkan
one.
KT
Now we're
paling
going to be doing it
3-2
again. It's not gonna be our
atau
last broadcast
3-1.
together, Ox. We're gonna be on the desk
Kalau
together
3-0
tomorrow.
mah pakainya Genji pasti menang nih.
So we're not saying goodbye. It's not happening again. As Genji versus KT, that's what's happening again, and we'll see whether it is going to be a success. As 2 former KT players.
Oh iya, Ryu. Ryu kan mantan KT. Yang waktu dibantai sama Faker Z itu. Coachnya Genji dulunya di KT. Ryu.
Didn't like a lot of the drafting from yesterday. Thought it was weird and strange.
Well,
Is today going to be the same?
I hope not. I feel like one team came with some good preparations yesterday and demonstrated it in the draft. I think the other team was struggling a bit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We'll see what comes today because there's a lot of factors at play here. It's been 2 weeks since we've seen these teams play. It's a new patch, and we haven't had a ton of material in the LCK on this new patch. We've had just playoffs, just these few best of 5s, and as a result, not all of our teams have fully fleshed out or tested everything out. We've seen things starting to emerge a bit more. We're seeing a bit more prio on these melee supports and seeing how they're playing out, but also best of 5s with Fearless particularly are a different ball game. So the expectation is we will see deeper pools, more picks regardless.
I am a little bit worried though for effort because
Roller
I do feel like
coaster.
his Enchanter play has been fantastic this season. I think that's why they were on such a tear in the first round robin.
And the
even though
draft
his
pick
most played
start,
champions
chat.
have been engaged supports over his career, the
Draft
win
pick
rates
start.
aren't necessarily all that hot, right? And I think that his huge resurgence had a lot to do with him facilitating the rest of the team and not necessarily being the one to make those big plays. I remember that
Perfect
moment.
Jago sekarang dulu pas sama Dev Bapuk.
Effort is trying to go
Perfect
for
is doing
plays
good,
and
yeah.
it doesn't
He
quite
might be
work
like
when he's
top
playing
3
the
right
more
now on
engaged
top lane.
style. But let's see whether he can tighten that one up and maybe
With Zeus skin, perfect.
transition what was so successful in that more Enchanter meta into something that KT can work with here and now.
I think jungle support pairing is going to be really important. How they work together as a team. That's something that KT was doing really well. But especially if you're playing more of these engaged supports and less of the enchanters, it's going to be more about how you set up your jungler. The grubs value that's gone up a decent amount also makes that an objective more supports are wanting to play towards. So we'll see the read that both these teams have coming into this series and if things have adjusted and by how much.
Well, it is now time, ladies and gentlemen. This is what they're fighting for. The one last ticket to Daejeon. And all well, once they've gotten through T1, either team going to be facing them. Could be a telecom war or could be the Genji T1 El Clasico. We have no bad options when it comes to the final here for the road to MSI. As Varus going to be taken away first as we jump into the draft, and the Cassio also going to be leaving. I think Cassio's an interesting ban. I do feel like she has had some answers, but I think if you're going to take her away, the Orianna probably needs to be removed as well.
Cassio's just been on a constant lose streak to the point it's just dropped out the meta in the LPL, which is very funny considering how it's still super high prio here. So definitely not a champion, definitely a champion that doesn't have its weaknesses. That does have its weaknesses.
That's what I thought.
Classic ban.
That's what I did mean.
Okay, good.
But some heavy mid
Anivia ban, interesting. Oh, mau main Rise ini, BDD mau main Rise. BDD is going to take Rise first pick.
KT are telegraphing it, or are you going to trade in this situation?
Jarvan or Rise feels like the options here that we've been seeing a lot as far as the bans are concerned, especially in game number 1. Which is going to be slinking through? Or do they ban none of them? Instead, it is going to be the Jarvan taken away. Canyon not wanting to see Cuz on that one. And now BDD can just go towards the Rise happily.
Yep. And I think BDD's Rise has been pretty
Rise
excellent.
first pick.
I've seen him have so much pressure in games when he's been
I
on
mean,
this
Chovy
pick.
bisa play
Now though, Genji for the response,
Ahri
there's the
gitu.
Rumble available, which they can definitely lean towards giving to Keen. If they so
Yon.
want to, they can look to secure pieces of the bot lane. In terms of matching the Rise, obviously those two sort of typical counter picks that we often see are gone, but there's still like the Talia we've seen run into it reasonably often. There's also things
Oh,
like
Ruler main Ezreal. Ezreal Karma? Yep.
and the Ezreal Karma immediately securing that bot lane duo. And Karma's been slipping through drafts a good amount. But
Perfect
Ezreal Karma
on
has
Jace is
been
pretty
less
strong,
common.
not gonna lie.
Yeah. Teams denying one of those pieces. Jace is going to come
Perfect
through.
Jace
here
sih
for
mantap
perfect.
banget ya.
And then the Ziggs for aiming, reminiscent of composition that we saw yesterday actually from HLE Game 1, which had Rise,
What's aiming
Jace,
doing?
and Ziggs in it.
Is
And it
aiming
was
jerking
into
off?
Ezreal Karma Sion.
Yeah, this is actually...
Huh.
We're just running it back.
Yeah, these are the same picks
It's
that we
the dude
had
jerking
yesterday,
off.
Game 1. I think the ordering was a bit different, but...
I also really didn't like the Scion in that instance. I just felt like T1 didn't have a lot of damage. It's not going to be the same draft because Anivia was in the mid lane in that one. Nivea's been banned away this time around. But I'm a little bit worried for Gen G. Unless they really change things up when it comes to the jungle and mid lane, I want to see Canyon on something that does some damage.
Yeah, and I think in this situation, one of the issues that T1 really had in the HLE was engaging onto and getting onto these backliners when they had, you know, the Karma, they had a Jarvan in that situation, which is obviously banned. And Genji here banning away the Trundle, which we saw Navi play yesterday, into the Scion, have so much great
Sion
success.
Jace,
So he's
6
gonna have a much
against
better time than
Ezreal
Baron
is
did
pretty
yesterday
good.
in this situation. By taking
DPS
out
udah ada Rise.
those engaged champions in the jungle.
A pretty smart move. I think this Fury value is feeling relatively high here for Gen G as well, given the fact that you do have that meatball in the top lane to rely on. Canyon can be doing a little bit more of that damage. See what they do decide to go with those. The Nautilus is going to be taken away from Effort, definitely one of his favorite champions.
Ntar Tio lawan yang menang match ini kakak deh. Iya.
Nocturne, the Lee Sin, the Wukong in the jungle.
T1 sih kayaknya nggak mungkin kalah sih.
James providing engage, you're definitely looking more
I just have a feeling.
Wukong or Nocturne, but the Lee Sin we've seen paired pretty well with even something like an Annie. Annie Lee Sin pretty strong. So we'll see what Genji opt to go toward in this situation. Obviously, they know the solo lane matchup as of now, and they really want something that could be able to lead the charge close this on these longer range poke champions. And you are going to be playing through bot with this composition, so something that can set the pace in.
Chovy. Chovy play Mel? Against Rise?
For Chovy.
I actually kind of think this is fun. Based on Fearless Best of 5.
Are you sure about that? Yeah, T1 is not gonna lose.
So as we get later and later into the series, I know I'm looking a lot further forward than I
Camille
really need
Ziggs,
to.
classics.
This Mel could really start
Camille
hamstringing some
support.
of the options here as Amy locks away to Camille, and there is Cuz's Lee Sin.
Look, I don't
so
want
this is basically the same draft.
Ini late game nggak bisa sih ya, ada Sion soalnya. They need to play fast. Katie.
Genji considering the Xin Zhao, which you know is a pretty strong pick.
Siapa yang bisa nge-kill Sion kalau mainnya gak cepat ini?
You don't have the best tools to get onto these squishy targets.
They need to fly fast.
You do have a very strong front line in this situation. You can soak a lot of damage. You have, you know, the rebuttal from the Mel that can block some poke. You have shields. You have the Xin Zhao who can obviously pop that ultimate. Playing through the front to back for Genji is definitely viable, but they have to be able to reach these targets, and if KT just poke them down from this, it could be a little bit tricky.
Itu gimana sih nama live streamnya Korea dibacanya zzz CCCZK apalah namanya ribet bet.
Trundle just made the Scion basically unplayable. He couldn't operate.
And also, I think the Mel throws a little bit of a spanner in the works as well. I feel like Chovy will have a lot of agency to get work done
Mel dipakai di
on
bot
this
enak
champion
banget.
as well.
Iya, metanya di bot sih sebenarnya. Chovy pakai di mid itu.
As well, with Shock Blast being fired around left, right, and center.
Tapi Chovy mah suka nge-abuse meta sih. Dia waktu ada smolder aja spam smolder mulu kan di mid.
As this draft is concerned, that time around it was a barn burner. In that first game, T1 almost made it back, then HLE managed to win it in the end. But we'll see whether it is going to be a repeat of that or whether it's going to be something else. But it is kind of cute that we do have that extra tape from yesterday to compare how these very similar drafts are going to function in a very different environment between Genji and KT. Because so many of us do believe that Genji should have a large advantage just based on the nameplates going into this series and the form of KT
Lisinnya seru sih, lisinnya sih.
over the last few
Listen
weeks.
is interesting.
Not at the beginning of the season. If that was the KT we're looking at now, maybe it'd be a different story. But let's get onto the Rift for game 1.
Genji fighting. KT fighting.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Onto the Rift for the first game of this best of 5. Winner will be facing off against T1 tomorrow. And the loser will be going home. No tickets to Daejeon unless they come as spectators.
Yang kalah
They probably
pulang.
wanna scrim.
Yang kalah sampai jumpa bulan Juli. Soalnya ada EWC juga.
But no rest just yet. It is all about seeing whether they can take game 1. And already, I mean, aiming and effort should be having a decent amount of fun here in this lane if they can just stand back and avoid Duro and Ruler.
Yeah, we've sometimes seen this lane with the Camille into things like the Ezreal Karma. If you play super aggressive around your Ignite early, even level 1, can have some pressure. And Ruler's gone for TP in this situation, so no barrier. He's a bit weaker.
Oh,
Yeah,
aggressive.
actually going to get hit by that hook shot. Nice engage there from Effort, and there is a bouncing bomb connecting there as well. So Ruler already under half
Iwan ada di
HP.
lower
Yeah, will
bracket
hit
sekarang.
level 2 first though.
There's good time to go for it just before they hit level 2. Even though they're still losing in terms of prio, they managed to get that poke down. And we are getting some cross-map jungling coming out here. Split map, Canyon over here. And this is very dangerous for Perfect, who's pushing the wave in, really wants this one to crash and bounce away so you can get to a safer position.
You can see Canyon nowhere in sight just yet, but certainly some opportunities here as Effort is roaming up, looking for a gank towards Chovy here. Canyon also posturing for maybe a punish.
Yang menang lawan
Works
T1.
perfect.
Yeah.
Just saw a bunch of pings come out, basically saying that Canyon, he's going to path up towards here. We did see a ping, though, from Genji, where the ward is. They know exactly where Perfect's ward is. If he walks up here, even with the ward, he could just die. But he plays back in the brush. They don't know his position, and Canyon doesn't want to waste more time. So Perfect doing a good job of evading that gank. Could have been potentially very dire.
And aiming actually the benefactor of this roam from Effort up to level 3 now. And I think it's kind of cute, sort of funneling extra experience onto a mage in the bottom lane. Give that little bit of an advantage. We see often that Camille's are sitting around at relatively low levels for a lot of these games, but I think it does benefit the Ziggs quite a lot.
I mean, that's one of the things with mages. It's true for Ezreal as well, because he's a very magey 80 carry, but Ziggs gets so much power from points in his abilities, as most mages do. So him being level 4, having a second point in his
Kemungkinan kemenangan
Q
KT saat
gives
ini
a lot of
berapa
power.
banding berapa?
Well, I mean, he should have put a second point in
10
his Q already, but
banding
level 5, he gets a third
90%.
point, which feels
KT
good.
10%.
Well, right now everything very even. About 100 gold in it between the two.
Soalnya
We're gonna
mereka
have a
waktu
look
lawan
at
di
the
plus Q aja
counter
menangnya
jungling
modal
time, Cuz
hoki.
doing a little bit more, but you can see the vertical jungling is the result of this.
Gak
Cuz does
yakin
spot
sih.
Canyon moving in. Flash out from Chovy there as there's Effort going on forward. Tactical sweep, all he can really offer there, but Chovy now without a flash.
Yeah, good flash from Chovy there, able to get away from Effort. I think a lot of times if you know the target's got
Tapi
flash,
anything can happen, honestly.
it's kind of a game
Bisa
of chicken.
jadi
It's like,
Ruler
can I catch you
tiba-tiba
off guard
sakit
and
perut,
flash before you do,
terus
catch you out?
si aiming pentakill ya
But
kan?
if you expect them to flash and you just hold it, feels great. But in this, it's a trade. I still think KT very happy with that trade, but Chovy getting out and trading summoners, best of the tricky situation.
Yep. And teleport going to be used from Chovy to get back into the mid lane. BDD doesn't have that luxury as he's taken the ghost, as most of our risers do. But being able to stick around and just put together a
Kayaknya
decent
Aiming
amount
bawa
of
kertas
farm
lagi
effort
deh.
because now
Emang dia mau
together
nyinyir
looking for
siapa
another
lagi?
opportunity as Chovy no flash, and there's a rune prison. Hookshot does come on forward as Effort tanking up the turret for so long, and they do
Chovy
manage to
clean
get that
banget sih.
first blood, but man, that was pretty close.
Duro
Duro
is
is
so
able to
good.
get that kill back onto Effort.
Yeah, so Effort was trying to...
Whoa, a flash forward from
flash from
BDD as
BDD.
well. As he looks
Listen
for the
masuk.
extra
Ah,
damage,
gak mati.
comes with the
BDD.
Tempest. The Q misses. And Duro's able to walk it off, but
Panas.
without anything left in the tank.
And Cuz so low, so close to going down there, ends up being a 1-for-1 after
Lawan
everything.
Dike karena Dike selalu
KT
takut
the
buat
ones
mancing war
who
saat lagi
end up getting
unggul.
kills onto the carries.
Gak tahu ya,
John
Showmaker
Palmer, Filasco
mainnya
still
gak
fine with it.
galak
And
lagi
just
sekarang.
farming in the meantime. Oh, level 6 hit.
Yep, Train is going to go past perfect here as Effort now moving towards the top side. He's everywhere this game. Gets the stun from the hookshot. Canyon making his move towards this top side.
Lebih
And
suka
Keen
kalau
will
Meteor
be
jatuh di
able to get
komputer
away with the help
Genji
of his
sih.
jungler.
Yes,
That
keep
can
trying to find an
happen.
aggressive angle. We've seen him have a lot of success in these Sion
Gue di
versus Jace
Javu ngeliat draftnya
matchups.
Katie.
But with effort there, ends up losing out in the extended
Yes.
trade. Canyon is in position to bail him out though.
Literally copy paste
Effort just trying to
dari
make his
match
presence known
mereka
on the map.
sebelumnya.
Yep, and he is going to be going back now. See whether he does head back down towards that bottom side, but I have a feeling that he is just going to continue roaming everywhere else on the map, aiming very happy here in this bottom lane. Just teleported back down there. Ruler is going to
Ngikutin T1
answer.
juga ya.
And Cuz clearing out vision where he
Itu
can.
sekarang
looking
Fnatic
for a
apa
grab
kabar
now
ya?
as
Udah
well.
lama gue gak denger.
Level 6 will be his.
Fnatic
Off that
katanya
one.
mau
And we're gonna have a look at
dijual
this play one more
slotnya.
time.
In this moment,
Nggak
I
tahu
think
jadi
Effort
apa
was
enggak.
trying to wait out
Antara
the rebuttal.
merging sama franchise lain atau dijual.
Actually, no. Yeah, he was just rooted for too long. In fact, when he went for the... I thought he was trying to wait out the rebuttal, but he was just rooted, couldn't recast it, and as a result ended up taking a ton of tower hits. So good play from Chovy there to counteract it. Read the target who get tower aggro first very well.
Yep.
To make it a 1-for-1.
Now, KT starting off this dragon. We do have Canyon and Duro in the area, but there is a lot of vision here from KT, so information advantage should be theirs. Decent little snare here onto Effort, though. It's not really going to be doing too much of anything at all. And Cuz halfway through this dragon so far, and aiming with full control of this bottom lane right now, I think that means KT should be able to take this without too much of a response from Gen G.
Pretty easy pickup in this situation. And honestly, all things considered, bot lane going super well for KT. The fact you're playing into Ezreal, Karma, and your Ziggs has a CS lead,
yeah,
feels fantastic. I mean, you can say he was playing range plus melee, but realistically, he's just been playing singular range most of the laning phase because effort just hasn't been there.
Yep. And Duro is needed to match him as well. And so that takes away a lot of the power of that duo there towards that bottom side. I think KT understanding that leaving up the Ezreal Karma maybe isn't as dangerous as it could otherwise be, especially in a first game when you have all of these extra options, like the ones that Life Esports showed us yesterday in this Ziggs and Camille.
Yeah, if you survive the lane,
subur-subur ya.
and Karma's been
Nge-gym
nerfed a
lah.
good amount. A lot of itemization has been toned down in terms of the Dream Maker. Exocalia has been toned down as well. A lot of nerfs on this patch to make her weaker in the late game. And when you have a Camille as well, all you have to do is just jump on one of the two carries on Gen G, press ult, and then have follow-up. And you trade your life for either Ruler or Chovy, and your job is done.
Yeah.
Setelah hampir 15 tahun mau josot, tapi mau gimana lagi performa mereka udah kurang banget. Padahal dulu rival
Get a
utama gitu.
lane uncontested as the Ziggs
Yeah.
Camille. You're feeling fantastic in this game.
Masalah coach di situ.
Well, Canyon going to move up towards his top side, just going to clear out as much of the protection that
I think they
Perfect
need
has
a better
for him.
coach.
And in fact, Gen G have a lot of control this side of the map, as Effort is going to get snared by Chovy, hit by that Q as well, taking a fair bit of damage. The grub's being started here by KT.
Okay, so Gen G trying to move into position to contest. There's one grub secured already.
Yeah, that's the first one. Safeguard available here for Cuz onto Effort over this wall, and will be able to use that to get himself out of there. Keen at about half health, and Perfect continuing to soften him up, and it looks like KT wanting to go for something, although that Sonic Wave misses, and therefore they just get themselves out. So 2-1, grub advantage over to Gen G.
Yeah, they ended up just taking away some jungle camps here, moving down on the map, aiming with so much pressure on a Ruler. He hit a bouncing bomb in an earlier and chunked him completely, and now he has to back away from the tower. Can he get out?
Ruler, where are you
Cuz could just
going?
kick him into the wall here as he arcade
Lah.
shifts, gets himself out of the way. Decent little Q, but doesn't want to dive in a turret right now.
Save the flash, so feeling pretty good in that situation.
Oh no, Mega
di
Inferno
cancel
Bomb comes
recall-nya.
through, and that interrupts the back.
Yeah, no TP as well, so he's going to be out of lane for a decent amount of time. Ziggs getting tower access early feels very good.
Yeah,
for
already
KT.
2 plates down there in that bottom side. And this Ziggs is an absolute win condition, and I am joined by the perfect person to tell us about that. As Orcs knows, Ziggs pretty good.
Yeah.
At every part of the game, are we going to say?
We're going to say what?
Is Ziggs just good in every part of the game?
In this game specifically, he's definitely, there's going to be a later point where he's going to struggle to cut through team. But it just, you have to hit the right targets. Ziggs does so much damage, but cutting through tanks is not his forte.
Maybe not going to be building a Leandri this game.
Well, it doesn't look like it with him going. Ludens, I believe in the game yesterday, specifically into this bulkier comp, Gumushi went.
Keen is hitting
bot side
perfect.
forward.
That's a cute one.
Ada TP dari
That's all right.
BDD.
Got a bit of a realm warp here towards his top
3
side. Keen is
orang.
going to flash
Effort
away.
masuk.
Effort gets over the
Mbak
wall.
dia
and
masih level
Canyon
5.
moves in. When becomes lightning isn't going to connect as Cuz having to safeguard over because the Sonic Wave went wide, and so no one going to be dying in that little exchange. And we do have Perfect able to move back towards the top side. Keen now with no flash.
So, able to get away from that situation. But one big difference in this game compared to yesterday's game is yesterday's game that Jace was mega fast.
Coba player well tahu saat untuk mundur kayak gini ya, kebanyakan maksa. Kok bandingkan orang yang latihan makro tiap hari sama yang push rank anjir.
Bit of tower damage. He has got a bit of a goal lead, 300, but you know that game yesterday was a humongous lead.
Betul, kompetitif league tuh lebih susah daripada solo rank sih. Soalnya kalau di solo rank kan orangnya nggak saling komunikasi ya. Kalau di kompetitif itu ada kompnya anjir. Jadi apapun yang kita rencanakan musuh rata-rata punya counternya.
Does put a lot of pressure onto KT to get access to the squishier targets or just speed up the pace of the game and get a bigger gold lead.
Kompetitif league tuh di atas solo queue.
Posturing around mid lane, the fact that you have Ryze, Camille, Lee Sin, this trio so good at setting up and just taking out targets.
Well, Cuz maybe going a little bit too aggressive here as he's not going to get snared by Chovy, able to safeguard his way out. And even though the 3 talent strike connected, he was already halfway out of there. So Cuz going to be all right. Looked a little bit aggressive as another Mega Inferno Bomb just to be annoying.
Soalnya
Kanye's going to keep channeling his recall here.
Top 1 server Korea tuh kadang ada orang Vietnam, kadang ada orang Eropa. Tapi kalau orang top 1 solo queue itu disuruh kompetitif league di prosin, belum tentu sejago itu cuy. Tahu gue pro play jarang solo ranked. Ya makanya lebih sering scream, soalnya lebih susah. Solo queue mah lebih buat latihan champion biasanya. Biasanya lu mau nambahin champion baru ke champion pool lu, nyobanya di solo rank. Kalau latihan mah biasanya di scream. Soalnya scream lebih susah daripada solo queue. Soalnya tim musuhnya full comp. Jadi mainnya counter.
BDD looking for an angle, but Duro does have that inspire, but there is Duro in prison. And unfortunately, Duro not able to break out of that one.
Good pick. Seeing the Ryze Lee Sin combo on display, how easy it is to set up, especially on a squishier pick like the Karma. Duro binning both summoners and still isn't able to get out. And keeping up this pressure, really important, especially as KT don't really have souls of WinCon right now. It's not going to massively push things in favor of them taking the game, so they really have to be pushing this gold lead forward and looking towards
Camille support tuh teroris banget sih sumpah. Soalnya dia bisa buka map terus gampang kabur lagi.
It was Elder Dragon.
Yeah.
Almost every game.
Yeah.
Whether they get the soul or not, the Elder Dragon was kind of just KTs. And so we'll see whether they can speed run their way there, where the soul isn't as important, but getting to that big dangerous dragon is.
In this situation, Duro just pushing in, getting a ward down, not seeing Cuz behind him.
Support laku
deeper in the jungle. You can see now, if you look at the vision line, wards exactly where Cuz was before.
Apalagi kalau bareng Mage.
Oh, you're going to connect there onto Canyon, who does take a
Galio juga, Galio Camille juga.
Right now. I mean, I know he's same items as Canyon, but just the
Aiming sekarang jadi pro player ya setelah gak main di Extravaganza. Lah, kemarin Aiming ada di itu kocak filmnya Joko Anwar, lu gak tahu. He goes in shell.
Is going to boost his way over here. This gives Perfect so much space, though. Canyon has to come over to try and defend, but now they know exactly where the jungler is. And so Genji just kind of being pulled apart in this early mid-game by KT. I mean, KT's macro, this is looking like some round 1 macro that we saw from KT, which was a lot cleaner. BDD able to cheat that Realm Warp over to the other side of the wall.
Where are you going?
Genji do make it out, another kick. Great snare from Chovy. Flashes, so the resonating strike doesn't work. The overwhelm, not going to be enough, but Canyon will be able to shut down effort. Cuz now taking a lot of damage, has to blast it out of the way. The train coming on over. He not able to hit anyone, but Canyon gets over that wall. Great satchel there from aiming, striking cover, but it does not work, and Ruler is now on the board.
Genji managed to come in and punish KT for a bit of that over-aggression.
Kalau Galio Camille mah satu, ambil satu pasti kena ulti Galio. Itu kombonya.
First turret went over, yeah, exactly.
Camille Rice juga bagus.
It's going to be annoying here.
Do they, like, KT are just interrupting backs all over the place.
Nice.
Oh, he's just dead.
Wah, seru banget.
Really clean.
Gak ada farming
Go
Jir.
back, knows it's an easy target, and now they can just look for this tower. It's satchel range for aiming right now.
Yep, he is able to just blow that one up immediately. So the outer ring at huge risk
Oriana
of
lihat
just all
support,
being
Oriana
eliminated
support.
here, and that is KT moving that gold lead to about 2.5.
Oriana
And
support
you can see,
gampang
even though
keciduk kocak.
Genji came in on the play and were able to catch
Mid
out
lane-nya
two
main
members
apa,
of KT,
Galio?
hold them accountable. It costs a lot
Kebalik
in terms
gamenya.
of resources, it costs a lot of flashes, it costs a lot of effort.
It did cost effort.
It did cost effort.
Yeah.
But we see in this situation, Chovy TPs this tower. It's such a dangerous play because there's 4 members of KT there.
Sekadar
As he gets
support
taken out,
itu
Effort
cuma
does
di
end up
Asia Pasifik ya.
Also dying because he has to extend pretty far for it. But then they go on this chase on Cuz. Cuz on the Lee Sin, super mobile. And because their engage isn't super reliable, it takes so long to catch him. And they have to commit so many flashes. Keen with the final one here to get him down. And then this play, this was so smart. I think Duro just kind of knew. Maybe he was shopping, but maybe after the scrying trinket came down, he just knew he was kind of dead.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be many options to get him out of that one, as Keen, once again, having to use that ultimate very defensively here towards this bottom side. And this Serpent Spank
Wah,
really
gak
doing some
dikasih
work for
cracknya.
Perfect as well to cut down that Soul
Ada
Furnace.
Kim,
As now Cuz
gak kelihatan
moving in,
Q-nya.
just gonna get
Masih
knocked off by
dihajar,
that Q, but
ditendang,
gets the
dioper,
kickback onto the
dikurungin,
Scion.
Sionnya
Keen fully
dipukulin
separated
satu
from the
warga,
team, but the rest of
hilang
them are moving
cok.
in. Mega Inferno Bomb gonna be enough to shut him down, but there goes Effort as well. And the Zombie Scion is actually doing a fair bit of work here. As Cuz will be able to finish him off in the end. A 1-for-1 top laner for support.
Yeah, we keep comparing.
Gitu loh, Sion early game pukulin loh, mumpung masih squishy ya.
But they're playing the map.
Oh, BDD just going to walk over,
Ala,
gets
gak
the
kena
Crescent
Q-nya.
Guard out of Canyon, who decides to go back in. Flash out from Perfect to avoid Chovy's damage, which is really starting to stack up.
What the fuck,
Still,
Cinema?
KT's going to move back looking for Soul Point.
Yeah, some oversteps there. Cost Perfect his flash in that situation, but he's able to get away from it. Aiming, TPing in with a Shadow Flame. So much burst on this Ziggs now. We see that Genji are looking to try and at least contest some of this vision, but 2,700 gold behind it, a big item spike for the Ziggs. It's going to be hard to contest if they want to.
And Canyon also without his ultimate and without a lot of his health bar as well, as he's looking to take down this
Selamat
red
ulang
buff.
tahun, Ruler.
Ruler on the minefield. Needs to be very, very careful.
What a
As in goes Keen once again. Hextech Ultimatum holds him in position. But Keen's already starting to be a bit difficult to get through. And Genji are going to be able to move themselves over. Aiming caught off to the side. But my god, the damage from this Ziggs
Yes,
is absolutely
Whoa,
absurd.
whoa, whoa,
And yeah,
whoa,
Drew is
whoa.
probably dead if he gets hit by that one. Keen
Okay,
already
listen.
taken down. It's BDD that locks up that kill. But now Canyon in this pit.
Dapat nice. Nice aiming.
Mega
Triple kill for aiming. Quadra itu, Cok. Quadra kill. Quadra kill for aiming.
For aiming it absolutely is. As
Holy
KT
shit.
massacring Genji in this game.
This Shadow Flame Loon's damage spike is so insane, and
Oh
Amy
my
can see
God.
his ult coming up so soon. He's waiting for the window, and all 4 members who are remaining of Genji end up in the pit. It's like
Sion
shooting
bisa
fish in
multi
a
keluar dari
barrel.
kurungan Kamil gak?
Shooting fish in a
Nggak
barrel
bisa
when
keluar.
your bullet is the size of the barrel. That's basically what it
Shooting
was.
fish in a barrel with a cannon.
Yeah. Oh man, Keen separated here in this instance. It was nicely played. Genji able to get that one back against Effort.
Yeah, Effort super
Tapi
squishy at
waktu
this
itu
point.
aku nemu bug,
Died.
guys.
But,
Lupa
his
bugnya
KD is
apa,
not really
cara keluar
important
dari
here. So
Kamil
Aiming's getting some
ulti
good
itu.
poke down. Look at the damage
Waktu
on
itu aku
Hero.
pernah tuh lagi
But
solo
then his
queue.
ult's coming up
Pakai
soon,
champion
and I'm
apa
thinking,
ya?
when's the
Ada
window?
gue
When's the window?
pernah
Does he
keluar
go
dari
for
Kamil
the-
ult tapi
for Ruler
lupa.
and Duro, or does he go for the rest of the team?
Lupa
No, they come
bugnya
into the
apa.
pit. I'm like, well, it's an easy decision now, and he just throws the ult in. It's so much value.
And the insult to injury there as well is that Cuz also secures Soul Point for KT.
Yeah.
So Genji get absolutely nothing back for that huge risk that they took.
You know what? I'll say it.
Please do.
As soon as I saw the entire global side with 3-0 predictions for Genji,
I mean, Pony tried his best.
Normalnya skill
He tried
3
his
Poppy bisa
absolute
keluar.
best.
but it's hard to explain.
It is. It's hard to explain just how much
Was it?
he was not able
Kayaknya bukan main
to
Poppy deh
curse
gue waktu
KT
itu, main
by
apa
predicting
ya?
for them. It is going to be this inner turret falling down. And it's a best of 5, ladies and gentlemen. We might be getting a little bit too far ahead of ourselves, but KT are looking absolutely phenomenal here. And sometimes, you know,
bahkan gue gak ngedorong Kamil keluar. Jadi ultinya tuh bener-bener cancel. Gue lupa. Lupa gue main apa.
You know, it's the same exam.
Oh,
Now Cuz
ini
is going to
apa? Naik
have his
Herald,
ride stopped
naik
there a
Herald.
little bit.
Ah.
Shelly is taken
Jadi
down,
kalau
so not
misalkan
able
lu
to get
dikurung
another
Kamil
charge.
naik Herald. Nah, itu. Ingat gua.
I mean, KT and
Keluar
HT
itu,
win
keluar.
against each other.
Naik Herald, ingat gua, ingat gua.
That's a good point. Is now Keen separated once again. A great satchel as
Kalau
well.
lu naik Herald,
to
lu
make
bisa
sure that
keluar
his
dari
side
ulti
is just
Kamil.
completely disconnected from the rest of his team.
Easy pickup. You know, I talked about not playing into the trundle, going to make the Scion's life so much easier, but KT are just shredding
Kalau misalkan lu di ulti Kamil, lu keluarin Herald terus naik ke Herald bisa keluar.
Oh, aiming, trying to get some information here. Canyon is at least able to tank up some of these bouncing bombs a little bit better than Duro.
Iya, ingat gua.
Magic resist here for the Xin Zhao. And Genji, they're not out of it just yet, but it's getting close.
If the Scion feels squishy at this point, you're not in for a good time. I think one of the issues compared to yesterday is T1 had the job.
Guys, kenapa akhir-akhir ini banyak orang aneh di chat gue ya? Tiba-tiba bahas ML anjing. Tiba-tiba bobo epos kocak. Lu siapa anjir?
And at this point when this flash is available for all the carries,
udah mah komennya salah.
What is your game plan for shutting down aiming? You just run at him fast and hope he doesn't
have satchel?
Yeah. Or flash. Or now rocket belt.
Keen is going to have to try and do it again. Does use the blast, going to get himself to safety. Is now aiming is just hunting Ruler. Just throws a Mega Inferno Bomb at him. And he has to Arcane Shift over the wall to avoid getting Bouncing Bomb to death. This is going to be a dead turret. If aiming wants it, and there it goes.
Aiming has just been dominating this matchup.
So huge, man. 2.7k ahead.
I mean, you take Karma Ezreal on the first rotation, and you end up behind compared to a Ziggs Camille. It's not a good feeling. And
the thing as well is that
they saw yesterday's games, right? But the Camille wasn't denied from the Ziggs. And Evans had a great game as well, as now Duro caught out of position, just slammed into the wall and taken down. Cannon could also be in trouble as well. Crescent Guard trying to keep him okay, but it's a great satchel charge. This goes in. Now Keen gets over the wall, and they do manage to lock down Effort. But now Keen could be in an awkward spot. Perfect over the wall here. There's a shock blast being deflected by Chovy.
What happened to Genji?
That is all they're going to be able to achieve. Both supports on the floor.
You could see the game plan there from KT. They're like, if we just get Canyon, we can go straight to Baron and get this game in the bag. But they end up overstepping a little bit, and Effort is still just so squishy. I think another factor here is he doesn't have his ult available. They get the kill on Aduro pretty easily, but when Effort goes in, he'd love to be able to ult here and just buffer the Crescent Guard and keep him locked in place.
What has happened to Genji,
chat? The turnaround comes in, and Cuz does survive, but Effort just gets obliterated so quickly. He's level 8 in this game.
Ruler is almost dead in this game at this current moment, and that is going to be the sole available for KT.
I think
the enemy not having
Chovy sih jelek banget ya.
Just give it up. I think it's not worth contesting. It's not that big of a boost for KT.
Elder flip, baby.
Masa Telekom War finalnya, guys?
But they are looking to move in.
Seriusan finalnya Telekom War.
Canyon is taking a lot of damage, man. This poke is
LCK Roto MSI finalnya Telekom War.
And Effort taking a lot of damage. He is able to get himself over.
I've seen this before.
A minefield thrown back towards KT.
Don't you have seen this before?
Didn't know that was even a projectile, but you learn something new every day. As Chovy now with some control here. They do move themselves in. Keen is just taking shot after shot, though, from aiming and from perfect.
Yeah, they're claiming space, but they're losing health. In the meantime, taking so much
masalahnya tim ini modal hoki menangnya. KT menang modal hoki, menang lawan Genji anjir. What do you mean?
Like sharks, and look at this. They're sharks with laser beams,
tim modal hoki gini menang, Cok.
Jace is able to get a lot of these shock blasts through. BDD on that flank angle as well, looking for a way in as Ruler is hunting. Looking to try and see whether he can dissuade BDD from moving over. These Mystic shots, some of them hitting. Doing a fair bit of work.
5,000 damage from the Ziggs already.
Oh dear, Effort not actually able to move in, and that is Chovy finding the pick off. It's a solo in the end, actually.
Never mind. They kind of throw the game.
Canyon as Ruler moves over. Keen going to be taken out. There goes Duro as well. And BDD's able to roll
they kind of throw the game.
His teammates. That is going to be the steal
I guess.
the Drake going over to Genji, denying the soul. And they will now back away.
Absolute ice there from Genji to deny the soul. They're like, you know what? We can wait another 5 minutes for the Elder
start sih kayak.
It ends up being a lot of good poke coming down
Faker menang
Genji,
world
but
mulu ya.
Effort goes in a little early. The thing is they know
Canda.
that they're playing around this brush. I think this was just a bit overzealous. Effort thinking he can just dodge away from the root And then here in this turnaround play,
Bukannya lu shipping Mr.
there's becoming
Perfect.
a bit of a manic
I mean,
rush
gua sih
for the
seneng
Dragon.
ya
That
sebagai
shot
fans
blast
KT.
kills Duro.
Cuma
Unfortunately, the
masa
King
gini
buys so
doang
much
Genji
time, not
tuh.
just when he's alive, but in his passive form as well. And that's enough
Segini
to
doang,
push
Genji.
KT away. We also saw aiming running out of mana on the back end of the fight. So something they have to keep in mind in these
Dear.
extended poke
Dear.
wars.
What he doing? What is he cooking?
Absolutely a
Oh my
secret
god!
agent. Hook
Oh
shots
my god!
towards Canyon here. Hextech ultimatum. Nowhere for him to go. And down goes the Xin Zhao
Damn.
Crescent Guard. Just barely, not off cooldown just yet as my god. Thank goodness for a rebuttal out of
Tapi
Chovy.
user
And
J
honestly,
sekali
thank
paling
goodness
kuat
that aiming Zolt
si
wasn't up yet,
Perfect sih.
Yeah.
No debat, no
Level
debat.
16 now hit.
Season ini
Well, now
pengguna
it's
Jace paling kuat
insane.
Perfect
And it's
chat.
very
Not
big.
gonna
That
lie.
is a big
Not gonna lie ini
inferno
mah.
bomb. I think Mega's probably a good enough word. As all right, aiming taking a lot of damage from Ruler though. Mega Inferno Bomb does nothing if you're dead. As there's a Rune Prison onto Keen. They're trying to dissuade the engage from the Scion. And
Actually-
Effort looking for an angle once again. Chovy looking to find him once again, and he will be able to do so. Pop goes the
Bin masih kalah
Camille.
sama Perfect mah.
All right, Chovy knows his job.
Ini
Just
support
kill him
can
so that he
support
can't
stop
do anything.
inting
His coach
base.
gonna have to safeguard his
Where's
way out of
my
there. But
support
Ruler looking
inting
a
all the
little
time?
worse for wear.
Honestly, just great plays from the carries of Genji. Ruler chunking out aiming, putting in low on
1-6 anjing,
HP,
itu
and
Camille,
Chovy
Cok.
finding this pick on the
That
effort.
participation
enough to stall out
100%,
the Baron
babi.
and allow Canyon to get back on the map. This was such a delicate position here. Canyon caught on his Gromp, ends up just getting taken down. Not much you can do against a Camille who ults you 1v4 in this situation. And with him down, so Ruler finds a great angle where aiming throws the satchel aggressively there, and he arcane shifts over to get the damage down. Aiming does rocket belt away, but ends up chunked. And then
At least lebih aktif dibanding counterpartnya.
Oh,
Canyon low again.
Counterpartnya yang nggak bisa Nautilus itu.
Mega Inferno Bomb will get it out of him. And that trade of ultimates might work out here for aiming unless he just dies, satchels himself away. This
Kata
time
tadi
holds
kita
on
masuk
to it.
MSnya botak.
And KT,
Ini botak.
They do manage to push Canyon back once again. They get his ultimate, but is that enough to get them a good position here in this game? As the train says no,
Keen is
aiming.
throwing.
Having
Keen
a
is
flash to get
throwing.
himself out. Keen takes a lot of damage. It is otherwise
Go
going to be
BDD.
fine, and this is the price that Genji has to pay with
Oh,
BDD towards that
whoa!
bottom side.
Apa
There's a
tuh?
kickback onto
Apa tuh?
Duro.
What the
And
heck is
flash
happening?
in
Apa
from
tuh?
Effort to lock
What is
down
this?
Chovy.
What is
Just doesn't
this?
quite work as
What
Zed
is
aiming,
this?
grabbing the kill, but it's a double for Chovy. And now BDD in this backline looking to make his way, and they take
Nah.
Keen.
Nah.
And Canyon just
Nah.
dives on top,
Nah.
and down goes the Rise. Genji writing a new script for this matchup this time.
Oh
As Mega
God,
Inferno
Chovy.
Bomb does come in, and wait, never mind, it's not new. They did make a comeback in the last time we saw
Wow,
basically the same
tiba-tiba dapat
matchup for
Baron,
these
anjing.
champions.
Gua
And
lihat-lihat,
Genji
ya.
gonna move over towards the Baron.
Now Kurtz's flash and smite and his Elise in,
Aish,
so we'll see if he can
aish.
approach and try and get a steal. They're trying to stop
Aish.
him. Ruler's getting damage down onto him.
Teleport in from aiming
Paksa,
to try and
paksa,
offer
paksa.
that push
Terobos
damage
paksa.
forward, cuz
Terobos
not trying to get into
paksa.
the Baron pit just yet. They do
Terobos
get the
paksa.
information as there's a satchel just to be
Terobos
annoying.
paksa.
Efforts moved his way
Yes.
over. This is getting a
Terobos
little
paksa,
dicey as the
John.
Ronaldo
Terobos.
gets into the pit but does go down. He takes down. Oh, there was no smite in that pit for a moment because Canyon was killed. But it is going to be Genji that secured in the end thanks to Ruler. Chovy now has a very cool hat and a Baron to
Dukung mana?
utilize with it.
That was so
Jujur
tense. They just
nggak
changed
dua-duanya sih.
places.
Yeah,
But
it kind
anyway,
of broke my brain for a second there.
I just
Oh,
wanna
that
watch
was just
Banger.
a manic moment, but both junglers end up going down, and it's Genji who had control of the areas, Genji who get the Baron. The goal lead is closing. The soul hasn't been secured. It's 40 seconds till KT get another chance, but even so, it's Ocean Soul. They're losing control of this game, and things are starting to go a little bit pear-shaped for KT.
The power of Chovy in a lot of these moments could not be understated as
Nggak
Keen once again
murang,
possibly caught out.
anjing, nyawanya,
Although
Cok.
very, very tanky is this man. Now able to get healed up and helped out by his teammates.
Aish,
It's
udah
crazy
late
to
game
sound
susah
just
sih,
as
Cuk. Sion.
trident when so many other people are
Udah
working on
1000
3 or
stack,
4,
anjir.
and yet still,
Yeah,
it's just
brick
bulky
wall.
enough.
Well, KT now looking to prepare for this Drake that's going to be up in 1 second's time. KT having to make their way through a lot of watered brush.
Oh,
could be very scary. Yeah,
No
Oh, Effort is in the back.
He's been spotted.
yeah.
What?
On that
Alah.
control ward as the rest of KT are able to protect
Oh
him.
tidak,
And
Pak. Oh
in
no.
exactly the same spot
Kalah
as
udah. Jesse mati anjir. Udah Jesse mati, Cuk. Ada syalah. Udah kalah. Udah Jesse mati kalah. Ruler triple kill. Udah kalah.
And they managed to find the fight again. Chovy with the massive pick. No engage. It doesn't matter when Chovy is there to take out these key members of KT. And Ruler comes in with a cleanup.
Oh my goodness. This Ezreal, 4 items.
Chovy sih keren banget sih.
He is doing so
Chovy
much
keren
work
banget sih mainnya.
Playing around Banana
Chovy
Brush.
sih
He's
keren
just
banget sih.
hiding in the brush, dodging skill shots with the control ward, and then he sees someone step up. He thinks he can one-shot, he does. And then here, he plays around the Hextech ultimatum, layers the CC with Keen onto BDD.
Effort sih udah boleh di
Uses the stasis to survive, and
tabok
then
ya.
Ruler comes in for that cleanup. This was expert team fighting.
Kamil
from
sudah
Gen
boleh
G.
ditabok sih.
And aiming did so much damage in that fight, but it just did not matter.
And now, what you were talking about before, about dealing with Keen, is becoming a reality. As he's able to put a few items together, Gen G find themselves a gold lead for the first time in this game. And a 6,250 Red Bull Baron power play is what they used to get there. Pretty
Udah.
impressive stuff
Gak
here. And let's
bisa.
see whether
Late
Gen
game
G
gak
can
bisa.
hold on to this
Gak ada yang
advantage
bisa
and
bunuh
kill a
Sion.
Nexus. Which is what we weren't
Next
able to
game,
see
ini mah next game.
when this happened in game
Coba
1
siapa yang bisa bunuh
yesterday.
Sion?
KT now able to get some poke
Gak
damage
ada yang
on the
bisa
wall.
bunuh
That
Sion,
is going to
Cok.
be valuable. They are still in with a fight, and the Ziggs is still extremely strong in this game.
Still such a huge threat, and the big thing is that Chovy and Ruler, the only 2 carries on Gen G. If one of them goes down, I feel like the chances just plummet in a team fight, but they've itemized very defensively. Zonya's there for Chovy as well as the Rocket Belt. That's kind of become his namesake.
Did Ruler just go back and buy a full Frozen Heart?
I think he had it. I think he did buy it after that last fight. I'm
Yeah.
not sure it's the highest value Frozen Heart game, but obviously the mana does help out with the mana immune. He is going for a Hex Drinker now to help against that magic damage. But they want to be bulky so they can survive against these threats, because if either can go down, Gen G are in such a
Ya
bad
kena.
spot.
Wah, di TP anjir sama Kin. Oh shit.
He still flashes. Now the
Help,
Satchel is
help,
going to
help,
get
help.
Canyon even closer to the carry. Hextech ultimatum
Mantap,
over. They're
Mir.
going to try and kill the Zinzao.
Nice.
They do manage to take him out there.
Come on,
Oz
KT.
might just fall as well, though. And True Shot Barrage
Jer.
separates effort from his life force. And KT gonna have to back away licking their wounds.
I feel like overall, that fight looked like Gen G might be able to take it, but just the damage from aiming so severe. Even though Cuz and Effort go down, it felt like the ult that clipped Chovy
Kalau
and
ADC
that
mungkin
one
bisa lock
bouncing
Dominic
bomb
dah
that
kelar.
hit 3 people was enough to immediately make Gen G
Gak ada yang bisa
walk
bikin lock
away from
Dominic
the fight.
anjir.
Here, Effort, despite all his mobility, gets caught out here. The win becomes
Paling mentok di
win
CC sampai
becomes
mati,
lightning
kalau gitu
catches,
gak bakal
and
mati.
then Keen gets the
Susah itu,
devastating
keras
smash
itu,
here.
Sion.
They then, though, just ult Canyon chase him down. But look at this damage from aiming that hits Chovy. Oh my lord. And then they start to move up after the fact. But then look at this bouncing bomb that hits 3. And Genji just go, nah, we're good.
As soon as the bomb hit, you saw Chovy's like, nope, I am clicking the other direction.
That was enough. That was enough
18
damage
support
just
aim,
to make you
anjir.
hesitate, make you stop. And it just shows that
Stop
a
inting, bro.
few key skill shots from this very skill shot reliant composition of KT can make all the difference. All about hitting the right targets as well.
And you can see Aiming had a very large gold advantage earlier on in the game. That has swung completely back around after that last team fight that Ruler was able to take control of. And he is now looking for his final item to put together. A 4.2k gold advantage here for Gen G. And they've started to
Anjir.
stack up these
Ezreal
ocean drakes.
tank,
You were
Cok.
talking about the value that Gen G could get
Ezreal
out of this
tank,
soul.
anjim.
Well, Quadra Ocean Soul could be the option for them if they're able to lock down this next one in a minute and
Kalau
15.
udah jadi Magic
Baron
Crisis
going to be
sudah
up
lah itu.
in 18 seconds time as well.
ADC
That is
diff.
going to be a big one to look for here as Perfect able to avoid Chovy this time around. And there's that more of Malmodius. Ruler is now maxed out.
Yeah, it doesn't have a typical armor pen item, but I think into this composition feels like it's not the highest value, even though obviously even on Squisher champs, it does make a good amount of difference, but just prioritizing bulkiness. So much health, armor, and magic resist.
Chovy
in his
19
build
stack
that he is
betul.
now
10
not
stack
easy
meja
power to
betul
cut
ya.
through, and I know there's a ton of damage on KT, but if you
Chovy
can survive
10
couple
stack
of
Mejai,
bouncing
by
bombs
the
can
way.
make all the difference in these fights because KT is so skill shot reliant.
Jace gak
That
bikin
initial
dia full
burst
lethal
of
kocak,
damage not
gak
taking
bikin
you down,
domini.
it's not chunking you to that low HP will
Udah
make
ada
the
full tech
difference
juga
here.
sih.
Actualizer has been finished by BDD though, which we know can be insane with Rise. And Genji just start up the Baron, reading the fact that KT were leaning towards the bot side, trying to make a play.
Yeah, and Chovy with teleport in hand. KT are still looking for this. Even though they know that the Baron had been started, they elect to hold on to this position. BDD can deliver effort to this turret if they want to, as well as the rest of Genji are wrapping around. Does KT have the information? That's the question. Is now Genji able to move back to grab themselves the third dragon if they would like to?
They're just TPing Chovy to safety
Okay.
past the dangerous area.
Masalahnya nggak bisa bikin Lord Dominic juga kalau Jace.
But like, you know what? We'll deal with
Jadi
it
ya
later. For
harus
now, our
di full
focus is the
CC
dragon.
anjir.
They know that there's someone
Harus ngincer
hiding out in their
backline ini mah
jungle,
harus
but
bisa
they're just not able to
ngehindarin
scout them
Sion.
out right now,
Mau
and
gak
their focus
mau.
is securing this dragon.
Mau gak mau
Well,
harus
BDD
nyulik
is gonna
Chovy,
move
Cok.
down towards this bottom side, wants to try and break open the base, I guess, in the meantime, as the dragon is going to be going over to Genji. A third ocean, not exactly the most valuable. As effort, I mean, that's a dangerous place to be going back, but now seeing whether maybe they can get a catch on the ruler, he cancels the back, but Duro's still there, Canyon's still there. And KT unable to lock him down.
Langsung
Still
TP
teleport
si
back
Kin
from
anjir.
Kane, and now
Alah,
KT.
Cok.
No! He almost just killed him, and he did!
Apalah.
BDD gonna have some choice
Apalah yang
words
mereka
for his
rencanakan
support after
anjir.
this.
Delivers him on a silver platter to Genji, and
Apalah.
now with the Rise dead, with the Rise was no teleport,
Kok tahu,
Genji
Jir?
will no doubt be looking to make something of this,
kinda
moving
obvious.
towards the Baron.
Oh no! The ultimate betrayal! As Effort is now going to try and make up for it by trying to take down Keen here. Mega Inferno Bomb is going to be avoided. And KT want to make a cross map. They are going to be able to take down this tower in the mid lane. That will go down very quickly thanks to aiming. Not quite able to get the crystalline overgrowth for this bottom inhibitor turret. So, breaking things open, that is 6 elemental drakes that have been taken down so far. Soul for either team next time.
The slow-mo replay betrayal.
Oh,
I think we are.
Oh,
there you go.
poor
Effort anjing.
Yeah, walk away.
Anjing kau ya, Kamil.
Yeah, he does. And we watched it again in slow motion.
Effort
There's no
anjing.
escaping that one. If KT do win this and we get an interview, I really hope that that is the first question. So what
Ditonjok
went
abis
through
ini,
your
real.
mind when you murdered
Abis ini
BDD?
kering langsung.
Long live the king.
Abis ini duel di ring anjir.
Tagged here. Does manage to ult to avoid getting kicked back. That was nicely done. Mega Inferno Bomb onto only a Scion, who looks like his health bar's going up. True Shot Barrage is going to sail over the top of them, and it's Effort that goes down. Yeah, Keen is immortal now.
He's so tanky, and Effort is paper. Now though, they're looking for them.
Yeah, looking
Wait
for
a
an angle
minute.
here towards Canyon.
Wait a minute.
Because the dive's on
Wait a
top of
minute.
him. Perfect should be able to help
Let's
take
go.
down the Zin
Nice.
down. There
Dia
it is.
pecah.
Down to his GA.
Guys, the
and
base.
KT are now also trying to take
We
down
can.
Keen. Ruler and
We
Chovy,
absolutely
though, they
can.
have all
Nice.
the damage. And they're going to say, you can have Keen.
Guys, they're ending
you can
the
have
game. They're
Canyon.
ending
We
the
are
game.
going to win the game.
Pull
Exactly.
away. Yes.
This is turret number 2 going to go down. And
Go.
that's so much
Go.
damage. And he
Fuck.
makes it back to watch as his Nexus goes poof. And Genji
Apalah.
will go up 1-0 in the series.
So much happened in that game. A dominant early and mid-game performance from KT is thrown out the window as Genji clawed back with some clutch team fighting. In the end, the two who end the game are the two who found the windows in the team fight. Ruler and Chovy having a great bounce-back performance in that one.
Yeah.
And I
Support
just think
aing
it's crazy
ngapain sih?
how KT looked so controlled, so clean when it came to that macro
Support
setup
gua
in the
ngapain,
side lanes.
Jir?
And then the game ends with just getting back doors when they're trying to kill Keen.
And I don't think Keen even went down towards the end there. Canyon went down to his GA. They wasted so much time trying to kill them. And look at aiming. Like, he did so much damage.
BDD sih jelek banget
It
mainnya ya.
does look a little bit like a roller coaster.
Sama supportnya nggak
it
jauh
always
beda.
is. It always is.
I just...
BDD sama supportnya sih
I feel like
11-12 sih.
I expected maybe if they won this game one, the series could be a roller coaster, but the game one, it really delivered. We're in a best of 5.
Yeah.
There's more to come, but KT that game felt a little funky.
Funky is the perfect way to describe that one. A lot of key picks have now
Guys,
been taken.
tebak
Though,
siapa yang
the
ngasih
fact that
makan
we're in
Genji
Fearless
sampai ke late
does
game.
feel very,
Oh!
very good for this best
Mungkin
of
ada
five.
yang mati
And KT
10
definitely
kali.
looking even more than competitive. They were winning for so much of that game. And
Maybe
Cyclones
someone in
take a
KT
short break
died
when we
10
get back to
times,
space.
that's why.
Gonna break that one down, then we'll have game number 2 of this best of 5.
Ya, gimana ya? Modal hoki sih menang juga kemarin lawan DK. Effort sih bener-bener bantuin Genji menang ya. MVP anjir dia. Genji MVP-nya siapa? Effort. Bro literally membantu Genji menang game anjir.
바텀으로 끝낼 생각하는 게 나을 것 같아.
뭔가 이거
야, 내좀 살짝 본다.
하는 중 이거 봐줘야 되겠다.
세 버티긴 하고.
가는 중.
카멜부터 봐. 카멜부터. 카멜.
Karya Kamil dengan damage-nya bisa separuh ADC ini effort damage aja kalah makan anjir.
바탕 갈게.
어차피 추노하는 거 힘들어.
Nah, damage masih sakit.
얘네 미드 한번 더 올려.
Cuma intingnya itu loh.
해야 된다 얘들아.
Kadang tim dia masih jauh, toto dia maju anjir.
거기 알아서 하고 우리 그냥 바텀으로 끝내자.
Bang, pulang bang.
갈게만 해.
그냥 끝낼 생각할래.
끝난 거 같아.
하나만 어그로 끌어봐.
끝났다.
제이스 노플.
제이스 노플. 끝났어.
그냥 타워치랑 끝날.
다행이다.
Dia cuma ultision pula. Iya loh, tapi susah juga sih ngincer si Chovy soalnya ada Jonnya dia. Kalau mau culik paling sing ruler. Dia nggak ada GA, nggak bikin GA juga soalnya. Curang Genji mainnya berenam. MVP-nya effort, jir. Selama break kita scrolling past Nook gak sih? Kita lihat apa yang warga Facebook lakukan hari ini. Let's see. Prabowo Subianto. Kalau mereka tidak mau turun, saya akan menjadi orang yang memimpin demo agar mereka turun dan diadili. Damn, mulia sekali pemirsa. Sungguh sosok pemimpin yang hebat. Prabowo Subianto. Anggaran perjalanan dinas rupiah 20 triliun per tahun ini pemborosan. Harus dicoret. Jika saya presiden, tidak boleh menjabat RI pelesiran ke luar negeri. Damn, that was really nice. Tentu saja dia tidak akan melakukan itu, ya kan? Kayaknya kenapa breaknya 5 menit? Soalnya yang nontonnya banyak. Kalau di LOL Park mah kayaknya nggak selama ini sih, 2 menit paling. Ini karena menuju final aja. Salah, 5 menit cukup untuk pukulin effort. 5 menit cocok untuk mukulin effort. Damn. Nye. Guys, kalau kalian ketemu kalau kalian ketemu dia di jalan gitu, kalian bisa nahan diri gak untuk tidak menonjok beliau? Ya resikonya di penjara sih. Gila cakep banget. Tayamasan. Jir, pasti harganya 3 juta ini. Apa AI ini? Is this AI chat? $3 juta pasti ini harganya. Ininya kayak beneran tau, bir ini. Stockingnya cakep banget. Tapi bukannya dia pakai full stocking ya, spats ya, bukan knee high gak sih? Kayaknya dia bukan pakai knee high deh, tapi pakai full spats. Stocking, bukan socks. Apa lupa gua? Antingnya mana antingnya? Agak minus sih, gak ada antingnya sih. I mean, this look pretty good though. Jujur susah nahan diri, makanya saya dilahirkan introvert. Nice. Oh, demo hari ini. Lancar ya jualan minuman, Bang. Kita belajarkan UMKM juga ya, jualan minuman di tempat demo. Tapi esnya kok awet ya? Orang yang jualan es gini kenapa awet? Esnya bisa awet banget guys. Lama banget ini. Bisa seharian. Padahal panas. Tapi untung hari ini rada mendung sih. Semoga aja gas air, nggak ada gas air mata. Ada, tetap ada gas air mata. Itu mah udah udah pasti ada. What the heck? Lagunya coba ganti jadi lagu ini. Dongguri hotte no sukimasen, tori no chisana restoran, karapo no naka de kasa ute mori no chisana restoran. Ini saran apa anjir? What kind of advice is this? Semakin sayang cewekmu, semakin kotor otaknya. Jaga titit kalian guys. What the fuck? For real? Bener, tapi makanya cewek ilfil kalau diajak mesum, mereka akan mesum duluan kalau udah sayang. Ya kah? Emang ya? Gue moba sih, gak tau. Mana buktinya? Iya. Mana buktikan? Kirimkan dalam bentuk MP4. Udah mulai kah? Belum. Faker just joined LeBron James and Lionel Messi on the elite global list. Anjay. Ini pemain ML kagak ada yang lolos nih. Mana pemain ML? Kenapa foto LeBron yang itu ya? Clickbait. Emang dia gak segemuk itu?
Pastikan Avatar dan teman-temannya tidak akan melihat matahari lagi.
Kami sudah menurunkan senjata. Kami sekutumu.
Pastikan Avatar dan teman-temannya tidak akan melihat matahari lagi.
Avatar? Kau Avatar?
Yang mulia, ada perang yang berkecamuk dan sudah lebih dari 100 tahun. Daily merahasiakan itu darimu. Itu konspirasi untuk mengendalikan kota dan untuk mengendalikanmu.
Perang rahasia?
Bentar, kok mirip? Is Avatar trying to tell us something?
Kami sudah menurunkan.
Seems like a certain president in our universe.
Senjata, kami sekutumu.
Pastikan Avatar dan teman-temannya tidak akan melihat matahari lagi.
Avatar? Kau Avatar?
Yang mulia, ada perang yang berkecamuk dan sudah lebih dari 100 tahun. Daily merahasiakan itu darimu. Itu konspirasi untuk mengendalikan kota dan...
I've seen this before.
Yukito, oyobi kudasai.
彼女は横谷のいとこだそうだ。ちょうど横谷の前の席が空いてるからそこに座るように。
Cute. Rambutnya agak aneh sih ya. Rambut cewek ini agak aneh tuh. Ini sebelah sini rapi dikepang, sebelah sininya acak-acakan.
Jitsu yori yoroshiku onegai itashimasu. Hitoyoshi-sama.
She looks cute though.
Yuki-san, Oni-chan, gakkou dou datta?
全部お前が仕組んだことだろう。
サプライズ大成功!
Are we start yet? Sadbird kalau anime zaman dulu mati duluan. Spoiler kali tuh. She gonna die? Wow. Anime zaman dulu. Lah, apa yang menghentikan mereka melakukannya ke anime zaman sekarang? I think it's still happening. Wah, game Riot Games nih. To will be in Evo 2016. Hal apa yang dilarang agama, tapi pengen kalian lakuin? Apa guys? Komen kedua adalah gue. Komen kedua. Nikah sama anime. When ya? Gila, bagus banget animasinya anjir.
Padahal kan aku udah manggil.
Okay, graphic.
There was Daejon on one of the signs before I pulled off to head to one.
That's what you're basing all of your geographical understanding on.
Absolutely. Purely street signs in Korea.
Okay. Well,
So
I mean,
if you ask me about where Bangladesh is, I'm gonna have no idea because I haven't seen that street sign here in Korea.
Kacau sih ini
That's all
temponya,
right. The
soalnya
Nocturne
game
gonna be
1
taken
kalah.
away as well as the Varus so far, and we have the Casio and the Oriana also removed. This time around, KT are going to be on the blue side. As
Harus
Genji
top
do have
lane,
first
susah di
pick
counter soalnya.
moving into this one. So KT choosing
Counternya
blue side
Nafiri
after
tapi
that.
gak semua orang bisa main Nafiri.
yeah, so last draft,
Di
we
top
obviously
lane.
saw a lot of focus towards setting up the Rise with the Anivia ban. Here, though, Genji maintained this Jarvan ban. Obviously, generally a good ban because definitely a specialist on that pick. Taking away 2 of these engaged junglers. Bard was banned by KT, and it is going to be banned again by them here,
Tapi ketika
denying that
Doran,
away from Duro.
Doran,
Seeing all these junglers thinned
apes
out in
dia
this
ketemu user
situation.
Nafiri jago.
I'm intrigued about what
Doran
the first pick is
kebetulan aja dia apes.
I don't have a strong feeling.
There is Rumble.
Z bisa counter
Rumble's
part
a good
juga
one.
kan? Ya
And it is
masalahnya
keen.
ada gak yang bisa main
But the Annie
Jet
is
di
going to
top
be the
lane?
choice here for Chovy. Has been a big one for BDD as well this season.
There was a period
Masih
like
gampangan Nafiri daripada Jet malah.
ish of the LCK where Annie first pick was pretty popular, but it hasn't been as much so. We've often seen the likes of Aurora picked into it, but for now it's going to be KT who slammed down the Rumble. There's still plenty of responses for Keen into this. We've seen Yorick do well, Cassante, Galio.
There's a few different options that they can go for. I'm kind of feeling like Keen might go for the Cassante route, but we'll see. As Cuz, we'll see whether it is going to be a jungle locked in here. Could be. You could even just do Rumble Trundle. Feels pretty good. Rumble Vi, another great one. And that is going to be their choice here. At least by the looks of things. 3, 2, 1, and the Vi will be locked away. So, now Genji with the ability to respond. I imagine Cassante X is what's going to be coming on through.
Yeah, expectation that they'll secure that for Keen.
Tapi susah sih lawan Ani di mid tuh apa yang bisa menang lawan Ani di mid ya? Selain Ahri. Apa chat yang bisa menang lawan Ani di mid early game selain Ahri?
Instead it's the Ambessa, so Keen going for a little bit more of a damage route.
Ambessa was another one of those picks that we saw early
Pasti
on
Ahri sih.
into Rumble not doing so well, but then she got those buffs,
Akali juga
more
gak
early
menang
damage, more
early-nya
healing,
sama Ani mah.
on the ultimate. She started to find more favor. So
Kalah
this is
jauh
a lot
Akali.
of threat onto any immobile picks that KT end up taking.
Ya kalau di mid early itu penting banget.
It is going to be that
Talia.
Talia coming through. Yeah, so
Wait, let him
Talia
cook.
and Unraveled Earth, a ton of value into this situation. Yeah. Both teams picking up
Talia even
a lot of strong picks, and really looking towards the bot lane as to how you're going to survive against what the enemy topside has when it comes to those 5v5s.
Zoe?
And 2 of the options for sort of noping out of the lane
I
have
don't
been
know
removed
Zoe
as well. In the Mel and the Ziggs, the most
Agak
popular
coin
of
flip
the
gak sih?
mages to be utilized there in the bottom side. So should be an honest
Talia
AD
mid lah
carry
itu.
battle between Ruler and Aiming.
I think the priority here is going to be on these longer range AD carries. Jin is going to have a ton of value in this situation. Caitlyn, The Ashe ends up getting banned away, so no Ashe Seraphine.
Raven mid.
But we've seen
For real?
countless times, especially when you have so much damage across the
Lissandra.
composition.
Oh iya,
Jhin being able
Lissandra
to follow
kuat sih.
up on things
Kayak
like the
Faker
Equalizer,
kemarin.
the Annie Wukong, very powerful. And there's no one who's that tanky in this game that you're worried about playing Jhin into Sion or something like that.
Yep. And there shouldn't be any of those options either, even with Aftershock being a little bit better on this patch. It is going to be Lulu taken away. That's going to be that first ban from Gen G, denying both the weird Cogmore shenanigans that we saw yesterday and a sprinkling of earlier on.
Yeah, Lulu obviously offering a ton of peel, but also just able to follow up when you dive in, when those junglers
Gua
dive
mulai
in.
yakin ini 3-0 sih.
Yep.
Kenapa? Soalnya game 1 itu harusnya menang KT BTW.
Which is obviously something we saw prior quite a lot in our
I don't know what
series,
happened. Mungkin ada yang
yesterday.
bantuin Genji buat menang. Dead participation 50%.
So removing some of the options in terms of safety for Rula, and obviously
Dari game 1 gak bisa menang berarti 3-0 sih betul.
Yep, I seem to remember a certain 2017 where he did look pretty good on that champion. All right, one final ban here for Gen G. Another support ban could also, I mean the Nautilus is still up, but Gen G can lock that one down for themselves as the Poppy is going to be taken. All right, will it just be Nautilus here for effort, or will they go for Aiming's pick first?
If I'm KT in this situation, I feel like MF or Jhin feel pretty good here. Senate feels a bit squishy, even though obviously you can play a long range. But that can be also played in this situation. But I think a longer range AD carry makes a lot of sense.
Butuh champion early, soalnya ada Talia. Aiming harus main ADC early di sini.
And it is just going to be that Jhin for Aiming. All right, great follow-up.
Okay,
on the rest
Jhin
of the
early game
composition.
might
And
be
Jhin pretty solid in
not
lane.
bad.
There's not much I feel like Genji can throw down here that with the support counter pick you're not able to answer for KT. And what will Genji go for? I think there are support options if you want to be a bit more aggressive, like we talked about the Rakan syncing well with the composition, but also like Shen works pretty well too.
Ruler gua kira Tayun. What the hell?
They are going to go for that Senna.
All right, she's being
Wah, Alistar free by the way.
Range, and also specifically into Vi. Vi has to see you to be able to target you, and you have the Shroud to play around, so
Alistar is free.
can play at a distance, and then if you see Vi coming, can pop that, and it is just
And
looking to
Duro
be
choose
Senna
Nautilus.
coming
I mean,
through.
it's the same.
Yep, I like the Nautilus denial as well as the pickup in the lane alongside the Senna because they don't have a lot of engage.
Nautilus
out
is
of Gen G.
the
Yeah,
same,
they've got Flash
kinda.
Tibbers, but it's not exactly all that reliable. And so Duro now having a lot of
Repam si
agency
Pana
here in
kapan
this
masuk
game.
wild trip?
Effort
Kurang
with
tahu
the
ya.
ability to answer this though. We'll see what he is going to be picking up.
Bart is the band.
For some reason I feel like he's going to play
Karma,
Nico, but I don't
Karma
know whether
Jhin.
that is going to be something. We've seen Nico really fall out of favor more recently.
Karma
I
Jhin.
think Alistar's good, I think Shen's good.
Karma di iya Karma global band.
Those are fine.
Yeah, Rel, I think it's pretty good. Counternya
Just
si
taking a strong
Wukong,
melee engager in this situation.
counter Ambessa,
And it
Wukong.
looks like it will just be that Rel. So both teams, a lot of
Let's
explosive
fucking
power
go.
in their compositions. A longer range AD carry who will be vulnerable if connected onto. And we'll have to see how these team fights are played out. I do think that the Senna, I'm interested to see if Ruler does take the Deathfire touch.
Ahri
that he's seen
Asu.
so much in
Kenapa
solo
harus
queue.
Asu
I've checked
singkatannya?
his solo queue and he's been running it in solo queue.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting if he doesn't take it when he gets to pro play and goes for the fleet footwork, as we've seen in the LCK. But I do feel like even though KT have a lot
Apakah
of
dia
that engaged
stres
power,
carry
it's
Genji?
still a little scary playing into how consistent we've seen the Annie Wukong be and the Ambessa in Keen's hand. I think a lot of this is going to come down to the Vi Talia getting some momentum early, and especially because Vi does
Iya,
have
Rel
more
tukang
early
isep-isep
impact than
ya.
the Wukong.
Males
If you get the
banget
ball
ya.
rolling, both these compositions,
Udah nafsu
so much
isep
mid-game
Rel.
team fighting power,
Kacau.
whoever gets ahead, it's going to be hard to match them.
I would agree. And I find it really interesting that you're like, oh, it's all about Vitalia. Well, I mean, it's always
Kayaknya
all about
masih imut
B2B
kah?
and Cuz.
Kayaknya
And
imut
whether or
banget.
not they can
Mirip-
get it together on the day.
mirip 0-1.
The early game in game number 1 was fantastic for KT. We'll see whether they can do it again. But like, I think this is a very different story, right? Last time, there were very different compositions. You know,
Yang
very
geser,
different
Rel
win
yang mana
conditions,
coba?
different ideas of
Yang
how to
gede
play the
lah.
game. I feel like there are so
Kayak
many
Nautilus.
similarities to how these compositions play out.
Kayak
where
Wukong.
Supports are trying to engage,
Ambessa
trying to
juga
find
kayaknya
those
gede
angles.
sih.
We're all just trying to press our buttons together and allow our AD carries
I'm pretty
to
sure Ambessa
carry
is,
in the later stages of the game.
has it.
Build the space for them
Ambessa
and make
has
it
it,
happen.
Chad.
And with both teams trying to do the same thing, we could have some explosive engagements.
She has
Let's
it.
get into the rift for game number 2. All right, effort gonna crop away.
Effort udah main tank minimal gak 10 lagi matinya kan? Kan?
All right, here we are, ladies and
What are
gentlemen.
we talking about,
on to the
man?
Rift 4, game number 2.
Rel out?
Did he already getting
right?
a little bit of damage towards Chovy, but Chovy delivering a bit back himself. He's battling for control of the wave right now. The Pandemonium skin there for the Annie as well.
And we do have Deathfire Touch from Ruler, so finally we get the Deathfire Touch Senna in the LCK that has been doing crazy numbers in solo queue. It's something like a 16 to 18% pick rate, similar ban rate, like a 55% win rate. It's insane right now. So a lot of damage and a lot of pressure in the lane. It was even more broken before when Deathfire Touch was stronger and it was physical damage and would sync up with the Black Cleaver, but still very strong.
As Anchor is just going to find that cast minion in the back line. Really interesting that we kind of had to move our expectations of this lane a little bit, but then move them back again now that both of these supports are playing Engage. It's sort of evened out. I feel like the Jhin should once again have a fair bit of control in this lane, especially in the early levels. But Ruler is just going to infinitely scale. And we saw yesterday from Gumayushi shooting people from like off screen with an auto attack.
Yeah, it does get a bit crazy, but I think with these two compositions, even though there's obviously scaling elements like the Senna become a big problem later on, I think just with the explosive engage potential from KT,
Ambesa kapan dapat skin lagi, Rito? Aing bosen lihat skin itu.
Oh yeah.
Obviously being able to play around that huge range makes it harder to reach him, but I do think that there's options no matter what for KT unless they're extremely far behind.
Bentar,
And a
saya
lot of
naruhnya
it's gonna
sekarang
come down to
DFT.
just execution. Who starts the fight first and leads the charge? Because both team comps, as you were saying before, play in a relatively similar way with how they want fights to start, and it is them being the initiators and picking off key targets.
Bang, pengen farming, Bang
I think a little
Cope.
bit more single target in how they want to make things happen in the mid game around Cuz, right, with the cease and desist. Canyon definitely a lot more about I can knock everyone into the sky and we can then deliver all of the damage that way, but there's still so much AoE.
You say that, but then Keen and Duro are pretty single target and Perfect and Effort pretty AoE.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I
So
feel
the
like it
balance.
balances out, yeah. It does feel very balanced.
Chat, not gonna lie, skin Ambesa Summer will be fire, not gonna lie.
KT is pretty frightening.
Bikini
and
Ambesa,
Equalizer curtain
no?
call has always been
Smash?
something that can kill someone. Even if you're really far
Ambesa
behind in the
Summer?
game,
Question mark?
you
Chat?
manage to get anyone locked down, those two follow-ups will certainly be able to get enough damage done.
Oh yeah,
To try and
Doran.
capitalize from very far away.
Doran, please Doran. Put
So
Ambesa
I'm
on
interested to see whether
bikini.
KT can actually once
I
again
think it's gonna
find
sell,
themselves
not
a
gonna
good
lie.
early game. The problem is it's got to weigh on your mind that in the last game they were looking phenomenal early on. And then things all
Ambesa
kind of
Summer
fell apart.
gosong kelamaan berjemur di lahan kapas. Ayo. Dude,
Going back to
that's
yesterday
not
again,
nice.
the 17th time, even though HD did win that game 1, we saw them get the early lead and then falter multiple times in that series. But
Not
they were still the
smashable,
team
dog.
with
Nanti
the
kita
agency and
di-smash
eventually
wanita
figured it
berotot.
out. So I
Dude,
guess
that's the point.
KT hoping that
I
that
want
will be
big
their
woman
fate
to
in this
crush
series,
me.
that yes, they did falter in game 1, but
By
they're
the
the ones
way.
with the momentum. They can eventually just find the way to close
Jokes
the game
on
out.
you. I'm
And I mean,
into
they
that
faltered in
shit.
games 1 and 2 against D plus Kia just last
Lu
weekend.
gak tau kan mantan gue
And that worked out pretty
2
well for
kali
them.
lipat tinggi badan gue dulu.
Based on the fact that they're here. So showing some tenacity
Nggak,
there.
2 kali lipat
See
sih,
whether they
maksudnya
can
tinggi
show
banget
it
ya.
once again here today.
Gak tau mantan gue sih lu, tinggi banget dia.
Unity in a little bit of a rough spot. Both of them having teleported back already.
The thing is, you're already having a rough time right now as BDD. It's not really reflected in the farm, but once level 6 is hit by the Annie, it gets so much worse because often when you're playing into Annie at level 6, it feels pretty bad. Oh, that missed.
Great
Jadi maksudnya kayak botak. Gak ada hubungannya sama botak, anjing. Dikit-dikit botak.
Come on through.
But as I was saying,
Ngomongin mantan.
most champions
Ya,
when
gak
level
lagi.
6 suddenly just in a rough time in lane because that happens. But Talia in particular doesn't really get any lane power at all from Hero.
Oh dear, Ruler gonna have to flash, and he does do so to get over the Vault Breaker. Cuz not investing his
Muscular
flash, understanding
tomboy
you just
mommy
come back
got
and kill
with
him
half
next time.
cut.
Yeah, and Duro just
I mean,
not
she
quite
got
there
a
in
short
time. If he's
hair,
in position,
not
he can
wolf
obviously
cut.
disrupt the buy, stop
More like
Cuz from going for
bowl
the,
cut, I
dash
think.
to force
Bob.
Ruler's flash, but he was a little bit later than the jungle support from KT. And it just
Kayak dia
means that
ngomongin
KT
dengan
is gonna look
kesadaran
towards
sadar.
Dragon,
Lah,
but
I'm into
Annie's
that
in the
shit. I
vicinity,
said it.
and Aiming recall.
I'm not ashamed.
Yeah, they have to dip.
They just get out of there, crash down over the wall, as well as the Vault Breaker will allow them to escape. But now you've got Canyon deciding to go for this crab. That should be level 6 over to the Wukong as well. Off the back of that one, as Aiming will be able to find Duro here.
Punya sen apa itu?
Very, very
Itu
low, though.
Dead Fire Touch. Extend apa? Extend
Yeah,
burn.
smites it as well, so committing to it, getting that first smite down, and then we'll have a second one later, but
Extend
definitely
burn
wants to
damage.
focus it. And we'll see, will Cuz try and steal it? It's in the area, but it looks like the answer is no.
Yeah, they did lose mid control just for a moment there. Thought that maybe KT were gonna go for something, but it looks like that is not going to be the angle. Aiming is lurking, so he can maybe find a little bit of a deadly flourish. Attempted steal, but decides not to go for it.
Didn't we have Cloud Infernal as the first 2 dragons last game?
Did. So now it might be Ocean, or we might get Earth, Wind, and Fire done right.
You're always hoping for that.
Every time, and every single time. All right, Duro going to be able to find a little bit of an anchor towards effort here. Does throw back a bit of damage himself, but otherwise it's just Mortal Kombat. No one really doing too much work. And things slow down. It is a very even game state, though, in this early game.
Yeah.
I think that both of us are kind of expecting like mid-game to be where the action sort of starts.
Kayak scores
Ultimate's coming
tapi
in,
better.
obviously adjust things a bit.
Yeah.
We saw Chovy getting some more pressure mid on the back of that, but top lane Keen as well was having a bit of a rough time in lane, but the spike you get from your ult making a big difference. But now, though, they're looking to collapse onto him. There's no TP from Chovy, no one's near. He might just be dead.
Yeah, cease and desist is
Ada
available.
ulti
There
dari
is the
BDD.
Weaver's Wall. The ultimate does manage to buy a lot of space, but they
It's
just
a
get
little
back
bit
on top of
sketchy.
him.
It's a
Keen
little
should be
bit
able to take down
sketchy.
Post here, though. Oh, there it is, the 1-for-1. And it's a disaster for
Anjing, kok ada
KT as
top lane
Chovy
sekuat
moving up
kayak
towards that
Keen
top
ya?
side as well. BDD in a bit of trouble. The Chovy
BDD
spotted
itu
on that ward.
tengah-tengah
BDD is
terbang,
going to be able
BTW.
to make it out safely.
Do you see
Played
that?
beautifully and almost
Replay.
actually got 2 kills out of that. BDD was so
Mid-air
low as
animation,
well.
by the way.
The ult to buffer the CC
Did
was
Kim just
flawless
ult
from
BDD
Keen. You see
mid-air
KT kind of
animation,
rushing into
chat?
that, didn't
Did
want
I
to get
just saw that?
counterplayed. They had more time, I think, but obviously we have the luxury of being able to see the whole mini-map. And in the end, Keen trading 1-for-1 feels
Replay,
fantastic,
please.
given how that play started.
Yeah, and now sitting on a 160 gold lead as well. As the Rumble did not
Oke,
manage to pick
dia
up
di
the
sini.
kills. We're gonna have a look at
Kalau
this
nggak
from
salah tadi
Keen's
kena
perspective.
pas BDD baru turun dah. Iya anjir, baru turun ditangkap cok.
Missing like the
Edan.
equalizer, everything was
Jir.
over there where his original position was. All that damage missing means he's able to survive long enough to take out Cuz. So Keen landing that ultimate as well.
Jir.
It's not just the fact that he buffered the ult, but the fact he lands it so he can move away from where they were trying to target him down makes all the difference.
Beautifully played. And what he said there was, "Find no flash." And he did indeed flash and then died. Ruler now going to slink into the mist as the Shattering Strike is going to be able to stun him up. The rest of Gen G, though, is going to
I
get
swear,
pushed
effort
away
is
from
willing
this
to die
bottom
for a
side.
ward.
KT now with a slight gold advantage, largely due to aiming being a bit further ahead than this center. That
Calculated
is
itu
kind of
kocak.
what we expect in this bottom lane, as you stated earlier, Ox. So everything kind of going to plan here for both teams.
Look calculated to me.
You have the early dirt coming out from aiming. Gonna likely be going towards that Ghost Blade. And it does mean that you're a little bit later on your item spikes when you go towards that. Particularly getting like LDR and IE together. You see Perfect getting some good lane pressure here onto Keen right now.
Yeah, the burn earn value starting to stack up. Looking for that Leandri's as item number 1 as Duro. Whether he does commit anything to this, decides not to. BDD just going to be pushed away from Chovy though.
Wheeler still has no
Does an
flash.
effort. Oh dear. There is the revisit, and down will go Ruler. It's a decent cleanse, but he is not going to live. Sometimes you just
Okay,
like to
pretty
press
good
on
early
before you
from
die.
KT.
Yeah, I think the cleanse
Surely they're
kinda
not
pointless.
gonna throw
To be
this, right?
honest, you would just be on dead as soon as
Surely.
they showed up.
It's
They
pretty
need to
handy
play
that
fast
you can just,
though.
like,
Di
channel the
Genji
ultimate,
have
and if it doesn't
Senna.
go off, then you get the cooldown refund.
Yeah, otherwise
Di
that would
Genji
may as
ada
well
Senna
party
sih
with
harus.
that one.
That would be. I
We
mean,
need to
be
play
honest,
fast,
I think even if it'd
please.
gone off, he's probably just dead and it's just wasted.
Yeah, no, he's probably glad that they killed him in time.
Yeah. So good gank again by KT, able to capitalize on that window where his flash just isn't quite available. They knew that Duro had shown up in the mid lane. And here, the CC layering is really good. That knockoff from Effort as well, knocking him just a little bit away from the turret. It wasn't the hardest play to pull off, but I think
Kenapa
they
buang
just did
spell
everything
udah
right
tuh
in that
bakal mati.
situation.
Yep.
Ya,
And that
setidaknya
means
dia
1,000
mencoba.
gold the lead here for KT. Three
least
grubs
hit,
though over to
right?
Gen G. They do have the first Drake. Next one coming up in 45 seconds. So it's a bit more of a neutral objective game for Gen G this time around. Last time KT kind of had a monopoly on that one, even though it was 2 grubs in favor of Gen G. This time though it's 3, and that feels pretty nice. As now KT are closing in on Duro. This time though he's not playing Karma. He is a little tankier with his Aftershock.
So notably, Aiming has the Ghost Blade completed, and Ruler's yet to finish his first item. So missing out on that spike currently. Both junglers with item completions though.
Yeah. Sundered Sky into the Trinity Force.
BDD
towards BDD though is now
Oof, nice
get a flash out.
Yeah, unfortunately, Chovy just didn't quite have the stun ready in time. Otherwise, I think BDD is just dead. But the flash is still an easy pickup for very little in terms of resources expended.
Yep, teleport back to the top lane here for Keen. As Perfect just teleported himself. So a 4v4 if they are going to fight for this dragon. It looks like Cuz might be thinking about it as they do move
Darkstar
themselves over.
skin terbaik kah?
Gen G feel happy about that because
Jujur,
the Rumble
iya
Equalizer
sih.
has so much impact.
Emang ada yang
in
lebih
these
bagus dari
early
Darkstar,
fights.
Jin?
And Keen still yet to complete his first item. We know that first item spike on the
Efeknya
Ampesa,
bagus
very
banget loh ultinya.
significant. So they will end up picking the
Trapnya
second
juga.
dragon up. And Max,
It happened!
it happened.
We did it! Thank you so much. And Ox, this is a lot to do with you as well, right? No Chemtech, either game. It was available, and we just shunned it. We got Earth, Wind, and Fire. We're going to groove tonight. That's absolutely what we're going to do. It's not September yet, so we're going to take that one off the playlist. There are plenty of other options. That band is great.
Yep.
It's all right. Effort now getting some vision down in this mid lane. And we've got Aiming in the top side this time around, trying to grab some plates up there.
Katanya obsesi angka 4, kenapa
There's the
nyawa
crash
trapnya
down,
cuma
flash
3
out
hit?
from Duro, but he immediately
Makes sense.
gets encountered by
Ryan?
Cuz, who is able to throw him towards the sky. There's the blast cone, but Effort gets into position. Dawning Shadow to try and keep Duro alive. He's still alive as the curtains were called. He's finally taken out, but it's
okay.
just support for support.
I think they could have done a better job of blocking those Jin bullets. If I'm gonna be
Udah mau
honest.
MSS skin wall T1 belum ada bocoran, bener banget. Where's the Galio skin, T1?
But they do trade 1 for 1, which all things
I wanna
considered,
see Galio
with how it
skin.
started, I think Genji not too upset about it, although they are down Duro's flash. Canyon does dodge away from the deadly flourish there.
Yeah, nice little sidestep. Able to warrior Trickster towards his Krugs. That is where he's going. I feel like
Canyon
Perfect has had
skin
a
apa
lot of
katanya?
control in this lane, but I'm not really
Canyon
seeing it
apa?
represented
Honor?
in the farm or the money or anything like that as far as this top lane battle is concerned.
What
Let's
is
have a look at
Honor
this one.
choosing?
But this
Mundo?
looks a little silly from Duro, but the thing is, they've been fighting constantly and nothing's happened. And then this is the one time where the enemy team's there. In this situation, though, Canyon got stunned there and his clone wasn't quite blocking.
Nggak tahu tuh carry
I
milih
guess
apa.
I give him a pass on that one. Not
Honor
quite
choosing
like the
Sin though,
epic trail.
dude, I'm gonna buy that.
No, not quite there.
We're
yet.
going to buy Sin.
Chovy just going to be clearing out some minions. He's had a relatively quiet one, but when Chovy has a quiet game, he generally goes up about 20 CS, and that's precisely what's happened here. And so the Annie feeling pretty strong, although not running away with the game just yet. Does have his dash cannon, though. Feels very, very good.
I mean, the significant thing is Aiming is really far ahead in the bot lane, having picked up his second kill. And Jin, ahead of the curve, feels so much better than a Jin who is just even in parity with items compared to a Senna, for example.
Well, that is the example in this game.
Wow, that worked out very well.
Yeah, in your
Anda
favor.
kalau bisa
So,
symbol
I
wild
think we
rift,
can certainly see that
kan
the
nanti
value
bisa
for the
main
Jin
di
is a little
rock
bit higher.
ally.
This stage, I'm
Bisa
trying my
pakai
very
controller.
best to stay impartial as Kane, perfect execution,
nice
going to get
dodge.
flashed there by Perfect. And by perfect execution, I mean public execution.
Yeah,
I would,
it would have been a perfect execution if you got hit by it.
Yeah, and could have been Akali. And hitting Akali's ultimate is a little bit of a different story. You dash
Chovy,
anyway.
you're
That's all right, KT.
alone.
Now we're going to close in on Chovy here.
You're
Effort gonna be
alone,
moving on over. There's the Mega
Chovy.
Storm to
BDD
hold
just
him in
pushed
position.
bolt.
And he needs to get out of the way of the seismic shove. He does manage to pass that test, but now the curtains have been called. Oh my goodness. Dodges the last one though. We just need an auto from BDD and they do manage to take him down. Just not quite enough able to rely on the turret.
Yeah, Chovy trying everything he can there, using Tibbers at the end to block the rocks from BDD, but he just throws on with his hand.
Yeah.
That's enough to take him down.
A tough one, as we're going to have a look at this matchup
Namanya
between our top
Aiming
laners
tapi
in this
miss.
bottom lane. We don't quite have the Leandri's done for Perfect. He's going to feel a lot better when that
that's
comes in. But Kane, very close
out of
to the
your
Eclipse.
name, bud.
It's also very, very powerful. Blackfire Torch now just done for
Name
BDD. As we have a look at
aiming,
this play
cannot
one more time.
aim.
Yeah, so starts moving backwards, expecting a dive, and then BDD goes in with the ultimate, flashes away from the deadly flourish because he knows a seismic shove is guaranteed afterwards. But then he's in this uncomfortable position. There's not really any way he can get
I mean,
out.
it hits one.
And yeah, moves Tibbers in front and just gets an auto to the head is enough. Now Canyon looking for perfect here. With no
Okay.
flash, this should be an easy dive.
Yep, Equalizer is going to come down, so they will at least be able to have perfect deal with the wave. Flash out from Keen to make sure that he doesn't die. As now he got to crash down from Effort to get over to a blast cone.
Cuma M doang,
And then to get
nggak ada
pulled back by
shootingnya.
Drone, probably killed. There's
Oh,
a
gitu.
great seismic shot though as BDD comes over to save the day. And Deadly Flourish connects onto Chovy. It's a fair bit of damage there. Is now aiming. Wants to have another one of those Deadly Flourishes, but doesn't quite have it back up just yet. And KT will now just move over towards this mid lane.
Aiming, not having ult there, is really what allowed Genji just to limp away on the back of that play. Did look like they were going to overcommit a bit onto Effort. Now looking for BDD. BDD has flash.
Well, the Tibbers is going to come down from the sky, and the Anchor is not going to steal the kill. That's going to go over to
Bisa
Chovy.
datang dari mana itu
So they're
Jir?
going to trade BDD for mid-outer turret.
I think BDD just has to flash there away defensively. The Tibbers was very telegraphed by Chovy. It's not like he's flash Tibbersing you. He just ran at you. And the late flash was a little bit ambitious there. KT still managed to get that mid tower though, so they at least get something for that they can be happy about. But BDD being down, flash and dying anyway does not feel so good.
Now, Soul Point available for Gen G if they would like to get over towards this dragon. I imagine this one is one that KT are going to fight for.
Yeah, BDD is going to be late though. No TP, and I mean he has the Weaver's Wall to get there quicker.
Sudah yang ada yang level 11, SP masih level 6. Soalnya nggak bisa lasit kan support mah. Emang pasti ketinggalan.
Economy not in their favor with Cyclone down, public execution down.
Terus harus buka ward, nggak bisa deket-deket wave, nggak dapat XP.
That just is enough for them to say we don't need this dragon. We can give it up. We can play for top instead.
Normal sih.
Exactly what they're going to do. So first one for KT on the board as BDD might be targeted once again. And yeah, Canyon comes in, finds that Cyclone as soon as it comes off cooldown.
Ini mah 3-0
He's using it again
Jir.
to grab that kill. And so that is now 2 deaths for BDD in quick
Not
succession.
gonna lie, this is 3-0 and I'm calling it
there,
now.
And I mean, you have to go back to the previous play when he burnt his flash when he was kind of dead anyway. Easy to capitalize on him when he still doesn't have that summoner available.
Lebih parah Dantes 15 menit level 2.
Chovy.
I mean, he doing his job. That is support job. Dia buka map.
From the teleport angle.
Yeah.
Dia
Very complicated, but pulls it off.
itulah kenapa under level ya support ya.
Clicking up.
Soalnya nggak di wave terus dia buka map.
Not going to be breaking
Jadi
that
gak dapat XP.
just yet. Wants to deny as many minions as possible, and will finally take it down with only one left. Clears out the wave. So this Ambessa going to move to a 1.2k gold advantage. And you can see the CS numbers aren't crazy, but
buka map,
the kill, the assist,
lupa anjir,
all of that
harus
turret
menang
money,
game.
he's feeling very
Masih
good
buka
on
map.
this
Keen and Canyon are really strong, both of them. Especially when Canyon gets his second item, such a big spike for the Wukong.
Oh dear, this
Ini
is just
mah
three mid laners over and
aksi-
over again. Crash down from Effort is going to connect. The BDD is going to get some revenge as Tib is also taken out.
Pembungkam Chovy anjir.
This is normally the top lane.
Gue liat-liat Chovy terus tuh di game.
Keen and Perfect are kind of happy seeing it not be
Aksi
them. That being
pembungkaman
said,
Chovy.
Yeah, Keen is going to, I guess, feel jealous. I don't know, as he is going to potentially have a little bit to deal with himself, but he just holds onto the wave, and he will be all right.
Yeah, without the Vial, and also being that Keen is pretty tanky, pretty hard to deal with, they don't end up messing with Genji's top laner in that situation.
Simbolnya di bawah tim apa fungsinya? Itu land quest. Jadi kalau di low PC ada land quest ya. Ini sih kalau udah nyala berarti udah kelar semua itu.
Didn't go for the Swifties this time. Like we've seen a lot of Swifties.
Kayaknya Katie ada dendam sama Chovy dah. I mean Chovy kind of carried the game in the previous match. Melnya sih teroris ya.
We know that Chovy does really like having a bit of added movement speed.
And the dash.
Kemarin katanya kalau gak ada objektif naga sama Baron salahin support.
Yes.
Second item complete.
Iya, emang iya. Salah support
Sky,
pokoknya.
So he feels pretty strong right now.
Gak dapat objektif salah support.
Really solid, and yeah, Chovy will just be able to back away from this one. Dangerous game to be a mid laner, so I think both of them being a little bit more wary. I said being a little bit more wary.
Okay, well, Chovy is going to get discovered by Cuz, but Cuz not going to go underneath the turret this time around. Now just going to come on over. Does manage to get the smite down onto Chovy. Cease and desist.
Bro,
He's
his
up
name
in 3 seconds
by the
time.
way.
Effort is going to move in as well. All right, how do we magic our way out of this one? As,
His name is Aiming, by the way.
As he is just eliminated by aiming.
This just feels more personal. I think after game one and what he did in the ML, justified. but it's not exactly a good trade in this situation where Genji going to take this tier 2 inner.
And the outer and mid
Kalau ada
is so
kesalahan
close to
blame
going
SP, kalau
down.
ada kelebihan puji jungle, benar.
I'm gonna say probably not.
Kalau misalkan dapat objektif berarti berkat jungle.
Now they do not.
Tapi kalau nggak dapat objektif salah support.
In Genji's favor regardless.
Itu adalah karena support yang salah urus Bung Tommy. Gak ada objektif ini karena support yang salah urus Bung Tommy. Kau ini tidak mengerti.
There's a public execution though as they're looking to try and get on top of Canyon, but he makes his way out to relative safety because his health bar is now too low. And the rest of KT, I think they're going to have to back away. Flash out from Perfect, no equalizer, and Keen is going to back away and let them live. Looks like Baron not going to be on the cards. It's only 21 minutes into the game, but man, there's so much jostling for position.
Animal jungle reported.
Yeah, I mean, they were looking for it. KT just gunning after Canyon, thinking if they get this jungle kill, they could maybe just go for the Baron, but in the end, not able to take him down. Keen such a massive threat at this point of the game.
Aim doang, kayak dia aimingnya masih aiming. Gak kena-kena,
Level 15 for Keen right now is very scary. Second item completed. And with Dragon in 45 seconds...
Ya, ini kayak terorisnya Sena deh hari ini sekarang, bukan Jovi.
Yeah.
They try so bad to shut down Jovi. Bukankah champion late game-nya Sena? Why we targeting Jovi?
And a depth charge. Genji also a little bit worse for her as far as that is concerned. Great buffer, but now going to get tagged. Gonna have to flash to get out of the way. That last shot blocked by Keen.
Nice ult, no?
And Nice. Barbecued by Perfect in the end.
Nice ult, perfect, nice ult.
The equalizer for it though is now Canyon could be in a little bit of trouble. Cuz trying to move himself out of the way.
Jovi
realizing that he has to teleport to get out of this one. And will be able to do that. So just a pick, but a lot invested in order to get it.
Yeah, I think Genji can fight this 4v5. With the fact that the equalizer and the curtain calls down, it's a lot of power budget unavailable. I think there's still a chance they can take this.
Ya, tapi mereka kehilangan 3 ulti sih buat Nasus. Shit. We kinda lost 3 ult just for Nasus, chat. Aduh, Kin ada ulti, cu.
And Ruler doing so much damage with that Dawning Shadow. There is the steal from Canyon, and Cuz goes down as well. It's a disaster.
It's a 3-0, Genji.
As, yeah. The golden flamethrower is also going to be removed. It's a double for Chovy. And you were right, Ox. Yeah, I think they could have taken that 4v5.
I'm glad they could prove me right. Canyon goes into the pit, and the focus ends up being on him to try and stop the smite, but he just ults, causes so much disruption. The rest of the team are free hitting in this situation. This one from Duro, he's trying to play around the banana brush, and there was a lot of that last game from Chovy. I think KT got a little sick of it. This was a great block from Keen, and this is significant because this essentially forces the equalizer.
Yeah.
So, even though Duro goes down, you force another big budget ultimate, and then in this fight, so much focus is on Canyon to try and deny him access, but we get the Wukong Annie combo just melting Effort and Cuz here, and then Roulette, he's just moving forward and just free hitting in this situation. Keen is just such a monster, so hard to deal with. And not only are they not able to prevent the smite, but they also just hard lose the fight.
Yeah. And
Bawa LPL yang juara MSI kalau begini, benar. Kayaknya yang menang BLG sih. LPL sih mainnya pada serem ya akhir-akhir ini.
And KT do need to deal with this center. As this game goes on, she's going to become more and more of a problem already with 2 items completed. As Cuz looking for Duro once again. Cease and desist on to Ruler though, as I think they have done their homework, but the bear is going to come down from the sky. And Cuz able to get himself out of the way just now.
Agak sedih sih fight-nya.
There by the Vi. And Effort able to crash his way out of there. Man, the fancy footwork here from KT.
Gimana kalau abis ini lanjut LPL? Emang hari ini BLG? Is BLG match today? I mean, I'm gonna watch it. I don't think I will stream it though.
Gonna block a lot of bullets, but Genji will be able to walk their way out. And it's a 1-for-1 in the end.
Yeah, but losing Keen definitely does not feel good in this situation, and just not a great played fight from Genji. So this is a mistake from Ruler.
Timnya lagi training. You think WE can win against Genji with BLG again?
And that gives Cuz vision to ult him, so he has to flash over the wall.
I'm pretty sure it's 3-0 BLG.
Duro would have been fine for a little bit longer. And then the ensuing fight, they try to chase them down, but this seismic shove that comes in after, so first they get the root, and then BDD dashing in to get that flick. So nice, and Keen Still very scary. Does manage to trade 1 for 1, but it's a lot less gold from killing Effort. And now you're seeing a situation where Ruler doesn't have flash, so he's a much more viable target going into the next fight.
And aiming as well. Mortal Reminder is completed, and he's getting closer and closer to Infinity Edge's item number 4.
Yeah, didn't go for the Storm Razor third, so he wants to get that Armor Pen and IE online. As we know, Jin really benefits from those items being completed.
Yep, I respect it. 4-0-2 on this Jin. So he is definitely what KT are going to be relying on here. Genji with that soul point though, minute and a half on this next dragon. Mountain Soul will make the Jin's life a living hell, trying to get through all of these shields over and over again.
Iya loh, main Jin lawan Mountain Soul mah udah ya, nggak bisa ya, soalnya nggak punya DPS lain. Nggak ada DPS anjir KT. Mountain Soul lawan no DPS comp, udah lah.
Still, only about 2,500 gold, the advantage here for Genji. This is certainly the closest one we've had so far today, out of the 2 games that we have had.
Faker masuk MSI LPL gak akan juara. Bahkan udah T1 terakhir kali dapat MSI kapan, Jir?
Yeah.
One will be closer than the other.
But you're not inaccurate, so...
LPL, Faker not even winning MSI in a long time.
So
it's very winnable for BLG.
Which is really big, considering Canyon no flash, Ruler no flash. They have to push forward to contest this. Trying to clear out this vision that Effort's getting down. He's now out of wards completely. So wanting to get a recall in, but it's a little bit late. Not sure you're going to have time for that. And that means that every ward Genji clears out here can't be replaced. So really makes it awkward for KT. They give up control of the area. The sweeper's going to find another one. And suddenly, KT just have no vision of the area.
It's very dark right now.
You get the recall coming in from Effort, fully stocked on those regular wards. Doesn't get a control ward though. I think you get a soul is refillable and got a control ward, if I'm being honest there.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Control wards very cheap when you have the support quest completed.
Exactly. Effort is now moving towards Keen, looking for a bit of an angle here as he doesn't find the Shattering Strike. There's the crash down. Public execution not going to connect.
Awas, backline.
Out of there, but Canyon finds the backline.
Astaga, hilang. Udah, Jinnya mati. Kalah. Jin is dead. It's over.
So much of their damage now. As KT, I mean, the Equalizer did absolutely nothing, and now the Piercing Darkness from Ruler will be able to keep everyone safe. Genji just moving forward like a
nggak bisa, Jinnya mati.
Getting control of the area, just deny any chances of Cuz moving in and stealing this one. Duro's playing Bouncer, as is Keen.
All right.
And this could just be sold for Genji.
It should be. And this is, it feels so methodical from Genji today. You know, this feels like last year where they were just kind of winning everything forever and there just wasn't a whole lot of doubt. That's what Genji kind of making me feel like now. The last game, a little bit of a different story. This one, slow moving, but definitely dominating.
So they try to go aggressive on Keen, but it's kind of half-hearted, and Canyon finds beautiful flank behind, aiming, ends up flashing in a straight line and is still caught out by Duro, and immediately the fight is over. You've lost your Jin, who you want to be sitting back at max range.
Kok bisa ya main rapih banget ya?
Canyon there. And I am going to say something. I criticize the lack of control.
Main serapi ini dibantai G2.
And there's also a control ward in his inventory, and it would be in the.
Yeah, I apologize.
Mountain Soul, by the way, gak bisa menang Jin anjir.
Yeah, apologies for that from me.
Jin soalnya bukan DPS dia, Jin itu burst ADC.
I also didn't know whether the overlay was okay.
Lawan Mountain Soul.
All right, we do now.
Amimir, cok.
Genji positioned around the Baron, and I'm just getting so frightened for what Ruler's going to be capable of as this game continues. He's now got another Zeal for 3.5 items that he's put together.
Yeah, once he gets rapid fire, it just becomes obnoxious. You can just harass people from such a long distance away, closing on 80 stacks.
Yeah.
This is the point where really it starts to become significant. And a big difference between this current center and the fasting center we used to see is you get levels, you get gold. I think one of the issues I often had with teams playing fasting center is they would struggle to find that transition point where you actually start farming and stop fasting. It's but with just farming in this situation, Ruler is very strong. approaching on level 16.
Asian Games pasti memperpanjang rekor Faker menang LPL. Maybe.
Could be dangerous. Perfect has a decent angle for the equalizer as well as they get a nice flick back onto
Kin,
Duro. Public
no.
execution going to be avoided.
Oh, if it was the old one, that would have connected, but it's a lot slower now after the nerfs. So Genji start the Baron back away, trying to find and engage and aren't successful with it.
Get them off it. It is kind of frustrating though for KT, right? Because now Genji are out of combat for a couple of seconds and then they get a big old shield back again.
Yeah.
It feels like all of that work that KT did to try and soften up Duro is kind of doing nothing at all. Infinity Edge finally completed here for aiming though. He does do damage now.
I mean, considering how bursty these compositions are, the Mountain Shield does go a long way, especially to Rilla, who is so squishy. IE has just come in for aiming though, which is a big spike.
Ini gimana cara nyulik Sena, Cok?
Strong on the back of that. But I think Rula should have rapid fire done.
Nyulik Sena dipukuli Wukong mati anjir.
I think he's probably waiting to have enough gold to resolve.
Yeah, he's on red buff right now, so probably will just be taking that and heading on over there, unless he needs to kill a popcorn chicken or a minion wave in order to get
Cina
that
gak participate di Asian Games tahun ini? Oh iya kah?
Right, a little bit of a stunned effort, but he's able to
That
work
is
his way
sad.
out. Too much of an issue there. All right, and here's that moment. Ox, that rapid fire cannon is going to be put together. So 4 items equalizing that of the Jin onto Ruler.
And I think this feels good on the center because suddenly you can actually put down your damage without being in engage range, particularly off like a flash ult from Cuz. I mean, a flash ult would catch you, but you're far enough away that you can flash out and he's just miles away from everything.
Yeah.
But just an ult. Cuz can't just ult you as soon as you start ulting him. You have enough range with the rapid fire.
Oh dear. Canyon is going to get flicked back. BDD able to dash cannon,
Oh
but doesn't have it in
no.
a turret here.
Okay.
He's just able to run fast enough, was about to get on his surfboard, so everything is all right. But still, bit of a jump scare there for BDD.
A little bit spooky at this point in the game as well. You can see Genji fully setting up around this Baron. They don't want to make it come down to an Elder Flip. Would rather set up this objective. With Ruler's range as well, so hard for KT to step up.
No Cyclone now, though, as that was used on BDD for not a whole lot of gain. Might be a bit of an angle, and KT, I think they think so too. Teleport comes in from BDD. Duro off to the side. Canyon with his Guardian Angel. Still up and at the ready. Genji looking for it here. As Cuz can always pull the trigger. BDD is the target they're looking for. The anchor goes wide, though. Deadly Flourish connects onto Duro. Is now perfect, just throwing harpoons around, and Duro gets punched by Cuz. Equalizer, and Duro just walks up the whole way.
Wait a minute.
All the timbers! As max range, but it's a massive bear from the sky from
What the fuck?
Chovy.
Senanya sakit
And
banget.
it's now Keen able to dash around the battlefield. Cuz is wiped out. And it's only the bottom lane left for
3-0
KT.
sih.
So much of the focus from KT was on this Nautilus, they lost track of the small gill with the bear. And Chovy just comes in and gets a humongous ult. Devastating all off KT. We can see how trying to find an engage on a BDD is unsuccessful. But they move forward and they
Sama ulti Sena juga ya. Ulti apaan nih?
Pump that ends up coming round to the top side. It's Keen.
Das, waduh 3 orang aja.
Chovy is massive. The triple stun instantly ends the fight.
Chovy.
Genji, Keen and Chovy working in perfect unison there.
Not to mention Ruler there as well. Always able to offer that damage over the top. So really nicely done. Great wombo combo, but KT now taking naps as far as the top side of the map is concerned. 30 seconds until this Elder Drake.
What's crazy there is that all the top side of KT have fire.
Oh no!
Bentar.
Cyclone comes down yet again. Effort
Run.
knows that he has to invest everything just to keep himself safe. And that's a decent shattering strike, but another Cyclone does come in. And now the rest of Genji are closing. Effort will be able to get himself out of there relatively safely, but look at how far they've been pushed away from this Elder Pit.
Yeah, pushes them away, and even though you burn the Cyclone, it also burns Effort's Flash and Ultimate, which are big team fighting tools as well. So you're feeling great about this, continuing the siege, and the center with the rapid fire is a monster in these siege setups. The static shiv as well, very annoying to deal with.
Yep, you can see aiming just
Yang nyebelin dari Chovy tuh ya, dia tuh mainnya kalem banget. Kalem tapi deadly loh gitu.
Chovy, oh my goodness, that stasis was absolutely absurd. Dash cannons to get himself out of the way. Dawning Shadow is going to be there as now Effort very, very low. as Genji just settle back in to another siege scenario.
And Cuz doesn't ult, but he's now got no flash, so it's going to be hard
Yang
to find
itu
a
dia yang
window.
nyebelin dari
Lula
Chovy itu dia tuh
playing
kalem
pretty
banget mainnya.
Oh, has to flash.
Tapi deadly banget, sekalinya gerak rata musuh anjir.
KT, you have to rush in if they want to be able to contest this. I mean, it's only Canyon for
He's
now.
not
so it's
very
going
aggressive
slowly.
or something.
They have to make some headway quickly.
But every time he moves, everyone died. 3 versus 4 masih kalah anjir. Alamak.
But does nothing at all as far as damage. And now Chovy looking to try and prove it against PDD once again. This is going to be the inhibitor turret going down, and this should be the end of the game and match point already for Genji.
Yep, it's 3-0.
Genji and
I call it.
rushing KT there. They try and approach to contest the Elder, but they get decimated. Keen and Chovy absolutely on fire in this game, and BDD, last one alive on the Nexus, will stay alive, but the Nexus will not.
And man, the last game was KT off to a great start. This game really felt like Genji had all of the cards the entirety of the time. A chokehold over this one. And I'm wondering what Pony's message is going to be to Dagon now.
Yeah, I think Canyon had a pretty phenomenal game on the Wukong on this one, but also just the solo lane. His Keen was such a problem. Even if they try to focus him, was a big issue. Chovy was making big plays in game 1 and game 2. That triple Tibbers was
Gimana ya?
just massive.
Sisa champion
And we were
apaan
talking
aja?
about how both team compositions had this, you know, engage with the long range
Azir gak meta
follow-up.
lagi.
The execution from Genji was just a level above.
Yone
Certainly was,
akali.
and I feel like the utilization of Rumble in these team fights didn't necessarily work out. The way
Chovy
sort of
MVP
Genji
sih ini. Dual
played
game.
around the equalizer, not actually
Dual
funneling
game
in
Chovy
anywhere.
MVP,
They were the ones that made sure that all of their ducks
Melnya,
were in a
Aninya.
row, and then just picked their targets and destroyed them. You can see, able to create a very, very large gold lead towards the very end of that game. But it was very
Chovy
slow
sih,
and
Chovy.
methodical after that mid-game where KT were able to find some advantages. However, ladies and gentlemen, this is a best of 5. And the last time KT were in a best of 5 and they were down 0-2, they came back and won the series. So don't worry. This could still go the distance. We could be waving phones around in a few hours.
You know,
time.
it could be a reverse sweep, honestly. Yes.
It's going to let us know whether it's going to be possible.
Could be a reverse sweep. Could be happening. We'll see. Could be a reverse sweep. Can we go home now?
Dan ngomongin hero baru, teman-teman, kenapa sih info dari mana kalau hero-nya tuh nggak permanen? Dan ngomongin hero baru, teman-teman, kenapa sih info dari mana kalau hero-nya tuh nggak permanen? Mana ada orang rilis hero-hero nggak permanen? Aneh
Siapa
banget.
yang ngomong lagi?
Coba itu info dari mana sih kalau misalkan hero-nya nggak permanen? Karena pertanyaan itu banyak banget yang nanyain hero permanen nggak ya? Permanen. Hero bakal tetap permanen ada di Honor of Kings, teman-teman ya. Karena memang sebelumnya kan memang pernah ada di server sebelum untuk dites. Jadi emang untuk dites terlebih dahulu gitu kan ya. Dan rilisnya di global dan dijadiin permanen dan nggak bakal yang bukan event doang, memang dirilis untuk full permanen. Jadinya kalian yang bertanya udah gue jawab ya guys ya. Kalian klip ini hero-nya permanen, tidak bakal di-delete. Ya itu ya teman-teman ya jawabannya ya.
Ya pasti.
Mana ada orang rilis
Drama Haoka kah? Gak ngerti gue. Elite CC com aja udah gak bisa, gimana mau scaling com? I don't know, just cook something good please. Clean 3-0 is just not fun. Jijik gue lihat gambar AI ini.
Lalu pengen bukti seberapa lo nggak aman hidup di Indonesia di tengah berbagai kekerasan dan polisi TNI malah bisa dudukin jabatan sipil. Nih lo lihat buktinya. 1. Apa yang lo alamin?
Mengalami kekerasan oleh oknum polisi, dipukulin, diseret, habis itu saya jatuh di rutan Salemba selama 7 bulan dan saya keluar mulut busa.
Berapa lama lo di sel?
7 bulan.
Azril 19 tahun dikeroyok, mulutnya berbusa sampai kepalanya ada cacat dan dia malah ditahan 7 bulan. Itu anomali pertama ya. Kenapa lo nggak aman di Indonesia? Lo
Kasus gua itu masuk di penjara di rumah Ahmad Saroni, yang terbukti gua nggak ikut-ikutan, tapi gua malah dituduh melakukan pengerusakan dan pengambilan barang di rumah Ahmad Saroni. Gua ditahan 10 bulan. Yang gua alamin selama penahanan gua penangkapan itu gua dipukul, ditendang di bagian sini, terus dipukul bagian kepala, disabet pakai kabel tis 3 lapis.
Jadi negara nyari kambing hitam penjarahan, malah nyari orang muda. Lu usia berapa?
Usia 25 tahun.
25 tahun, ditangkap, ditahan 10 bulan. Tuh, lu nggak aman. Yang kedua, nih, Rick, apa kasus lu, Rick? Seberapa brengsek hukum negara ini?
Seberapa konyol dan brengsek, absurd parah. Jadi ini yang dituduhkan kepada saya, gara-gara tim Patex itu, saya memanipulasi. Nah, tetapi ternyata berita yang saya tim Patex itu adalah berita yang dimanipulasi juga, karena berbeda sekali dengan pernyataan seseorang yang sekarang sudah menjadi penasihat presiden. Ditahan 5 bulan
dan sekarang
masih sidang. Masih sidang jauh.
Bayangin, dituduh bikin hoax, malah negara yang lebih sering bikin hoax. Nggak pernah ditahan. Nih, terakhir nih. Magelang, apa kasus lo berdua?
Kita
upload poster.
Upload poster konsolidasi. Konsolidasi, Bang.
Upload poster di penjara berapa lama?
5 bulan.
5 bulan. Siapa nama lo?
Yogi.
Azhar. Lo masih mau ngerasa Indonesia aman? Nggak heran sebenarnya kalau pada pengen kabur ya. Nggak heran. Jadi buat lo yang masih ngerasa aman, coba.
Bayangin orang di penjara 5 bulan ya. Bayangin lo punya kerjaan. Terus selama 5 bulan itu kan otomatis lo gak bisa kerja ya. Habis keluar dari penjara, mana mungkin bisa lanjut kerja lagi anjir kalau orang-orang yang struggling mah. Kalau gue sih ya, kalau gue stop kerja, susah balik lagi anjir. Ini apalagi, pasti gitu gak sih? Orang di penjara, pasti susah balik gawe lagi cuy. Kalau udah 5 bulan stop kerja gitu, balik lagi ke kerjaan lama, mana bisa, pasti dipecat anjir. When ya bisa pindah warga negara. Udah pindah negara mahal pula. What the fuck is this?
Silakan, ngepong gue sama pemerintah. Tak takut gue. Kita harus demo nanti Juni 20. Kalau nggak salah pada mau demo kan gede-gedean Juni. Ayo kita cabut MBG.
Nah,
that's a weird thing.
Produksinya
kan di Malaysia ya, pada kolak anjir. That's a weird meme. Itu anime apa cok? Dari coloring pahanya kayaknya anime anu sepertinya. Kayak kenal. Dari shading color animenya sepertinya anime anu.
Gue kemarin main ditonting sama polisi anjir, sumpah dah. Musuh gua pakai pick Kufra, kan dia posisi menang ya. Terus gue bilang nggak ada prestasi lu di luar ML. Terus dia bilang cek profilnya di foto albumnya dia pakai seragam polisi di atas mobil di tengah-tengah kebun kelapa sawit anjing. Lu gue bayar pakai uang pajak gua, tapi lu jagain kebun sawit orang. Kan goblok ya, kebun sawit swasta yang jagain. Lu gue bayar pakai pajak gua anjing. Cek profil lagi. Macam terus dia sempat bilang kayak
ini di ban cok. Di ban kol.
Gak tahu. Sipil panas ya gara-gara nggak kebagian MBG. Nggak kebagian dapur MBG. Kan kontol ya. Jangan-jangan dia punya dapur MBG juga kontol.
Iya ya. Dikira kita kagak bayar anjing. Orang-orang bangke ini. Yang pakai seragam coklat sama seragam hijau itu. Dikira kita kagak bayar anjing, emang babi mereka. Dikira yang punya sawit doang yang bayar anjing. Nicole. Iya juga kalau dipikir-pikir ya. Dikira kita kan bayar anjir. Orang-orang bodoh ini lupa kocak dibayar sama rakyat Indo. Ayo, rupiah menguat. Let's go. Cakep banget Tayama, sumpah cuk. How the heck? Why she so hot though? Lebih ke dolar yang lemah, jir. Tomato, the same shit, brother. My bini. Gak ngerti ReZero gue. I don't understand ReZero. Gila. Emang luas sedetail itu ya? Ini sebelah kayaknya Agnet deh. Ini sih. Yang ada air-airnya gini kayaknya Agnet. Aduh. Gak tau ya. Dia gue sedikit burn out sama Ado sih. Why is everything should be Ado? I don't know man. Gue bukan fans Ado sih, jadi agak burn out kayak lihat Ado, apa-apa Ado. But congrats for her, I guess. Gacha Lucila. Gue dapet Lucy, kocak. I got Lucy though. You guys didn't know? Yo chat. I have Lucy, man. Adomination. Beda piti kayak. Iya ya, gak ngaruh ya. Gue bisa gacha Lucila. Enggak, gue save buat Gabriela next banner gak sih?
Harga tiba-tiba.
Gabriela sih hot parah ya. What is this? High definition picture, they're delegate from Agartha? What the fuck? What is Trump doing? Dia ketemu alien aja. Gabriela apa Galbrena? Oh Galbrena, salah gua. Galbrena. Wrong.
What the hell ini?
Enak banget pakai bisa hoax zaman sekarang. AI kayak itu. Oh, pengetahuan. Ilmu nih guys. Hijau, orang tersebut tidak menyimpan nomor kamu di kontaknya. Biru, orang tersebut pernah memblokir kamu sebelumnya. Merah adalah orang yang kamu jarang banget chat dengannya. Hijau, orang yang dulu sering chat tapi sekarang komunikasinya berkurang. Enggak anjir. Emang iya? Enggak anjir. Soto ya? Ini karakter apa lucu banget. Buntutnya gede banget anjir. Tuh buntut apa lele? Itu pantatnya digigit lele guys. Pak, pantatnya digigit lele anjir. Ada lele. Jebone. Ini katanya bikin sendiri ya? Gila. Cakep banget. Kok bisa ya orangnya? Bikin sendiri cenah. Jir. Bisa gak lo bikin waifu? Ini pasti lama sih bikinnya. Cakep bacot. Ish.
In China,
Tuh gimana coba dari 3D printer jadi smooth gitu? Dari 3D printer di smoothing, kok bisa ya? Oh god, oh ya, udah mulai.
I didn't have anything either, but I thought that maybe you'd be able to find some magic there.
Rhyming past 2 it gets harder and harder.
What, 3? Okay, the Varus is going to be taken away once again. We're going to have Oriana and the Cassiopeia, but we've got a bit of a side switch. KT this time, after a loss, have decided to go for first pick instead. And so the blue side will now belong to Genji, much like it did in game number 1.
Yeah, so we'll see how things evolve in terms of draft. In this one, KT backs against the
Last
wall.
kayaknya. Kalau kalah ya pulang.
The amount of picks taken away we would see in a typical best of 3 that goes to 3 games in the LCK. So not too much pressure, I feel like, on anyone's champion pools as of yet. Going for the Vayne denial in this situation. A pick that Keen has had struggles on in his career, then had a big resurgence on this season. Yep.
Yeah.
Bard once again denied from Duro.
Oriana early-nya terlalu kuat sih. Late game-nya sakit, early-nya kuat.
Banned out the series, a bit of a cuz special.
Yep, Nocturne is available as well. Was banned in the second game, but not the first. So we'll see where they do decide to go. I imagine Jarvan is probably still going to be the ban. And instead, the Ashe taken away.
Yeah, so denying away the potential for Ashe Seraphine. Ashe Seraphine Jarvan can be very powerful, but obviously with KT on first pick, they're not going to get all of it. But I think the thought process was, if you go Jarvan, it's awkward for us to go Ashe Seraphine, because Jarvan is great into that, and we don't want you to get Jarvan Ashe Seraphine. So they give
Keen
him the
is
Jarvan,
playing
they're willing
Nar.
to do that, and looking to trade, first and foremost, looking at the Gnar, no Vayne, no Varus to play into it, could have a pretty chill time in the top lane.
Yeah, it's a bit of a fun one. We
Gimana
often
counternya Nar di
criticize
top lane?
blind Gnar,
Ornn?
but with Fearless and the fact that there has been
It's perfect gonna
that
play
Vayne
Ornn.
ban, could be one of these options here for
Ntar
Keen,
Loki
and he will be
laku
able
di
to
pro
lock that
play
one
gak?
away. Now, can you
Biasanya pas
can go
rilis
for an
gak
answer
bisa
to the
dimainin
Jarvan
sih
now,
di
or
pro
they can
play
take
selama
another priority pick
1
if they would
bulan.
like to. It's around game 3 where we start to see earlier lock-ins of
Biasanya
bottom
selama
lane.
1 bulan gak bisa
So it might be
dipakai
half
dulu.
the bottom lane that Canyon could decide to go with here.
Tapi Assassin udah
anticipating
jarang
that,
dipakai
Indian
sih.
Effort could be locking in their champions.
Yang
But
laku
instead,
sekarang Mage,
Naafiri going to be picked up,
Bruiser.
and he's going to be the choice into the J4.
I think it makes sense if you
Bahkan
leave
nih
the
Naafiri
J4,
juga
Naafiri
build-nya nanti
obviously
Bruiser.
does not feel really
Dia
threatened
bikin
by
Sojin sama Black Cliff.
J4's very telegraphed CC that you can easily outplay. You can dash outside the Cataclysm, you can dash outside his Flag and Drag, or just go untargetable to Canyon. But a great game too. Gonna feel very confident on this pick. And now, KT just immediately slamming down Yunara Lulu. Thought process here is that Vi is gone, Nautilus is gone.
Berarti di MSI bisa dipakai. Kayaknya enggak sih.
Also,
Kan MSI tanggal 28 bulan ini, Cok.
Interrupt the dash of the ult of Naafiri, provide that peel. So they're putting a lot of eggs into the aiming basket here. And I think in this situation, Genji probably just going to pick up a mid for Chovy.
Lissandra, without anything showing, would be a crazy choice here. We saw it yesterday.
Apa Lissandra mid counternya ya kalau nggak ada Annie ya?
So we were saying, point and click
Syndra?
CC's been taken away with Nautilus and Lissandra gone. Nautilus and Vi gone. Lissandra is point and click CC,
Syndra?
but is cleansable, which is one of the weaknesses it has. But we've seen the priority of this pick rising in solo queue from a lot of the pros have been playing Lissandra top, Lissandra support even, with Imperial Mandate syncing so well with her kit. So Chovy gonna get his hands on that.
Olaf
He gets to build Rocket Belt as well. Feel great about it.
What do you mean he gets to build Rocket Belt? Like, he could play Yone, he'll build Rocket Belt.
You're not wrong.
That's just how it would go.
Syndra,
As Caitlyn
Syndra.
going to be taken away, the Aurora going to be removed as the answer to this Lissandra theoretically. And possible now
Vladimir
to stick towards
jarang di mid
top
sih,
lane bans
biasanya
perhaps,
top lane
but,
Vladimir.
holding on to some extra safety for the Gnar.
Tapi nggak bisa
Maybe they
Vladimir
just
sih,
don't really
soalnya
care too
ada
much about
Yunara,
it.
harus
Obviously,
main
Kate
champion
would be
early.
confident in the Renekton matchup that we have seen actually picked
Harus
into
mid lane-nya yang
Gnar and
early,
the other
top
way
lane
around.
early, mid lane early.
Seems to be a bit of a gentleman's agreement.
Late game-nya udah ada Yunara soalnya.
Oh, the respect ban towards BDD Zoe makes a lot of sense. And for this last ban from KT,
Zoe
you're more worried about
di-ban.
like a Xayah Rakan. I mean, Xayah into Jarvan doesn't feel good, so I guess not. MF maybe is something you get rid of, just a strong hitty carry. Corki, we haven't seen that much of, but can get out the Cataclysm. We saw a lot of Corki into the Yunara, but without Nami, feels a lot weaker now. I mean, Nami still exists, but the Imperial Mandate synergy with her is gone. Lucian going to come through his ban, so no Lucian Milio. And
Aurora kena ban.
yeah, I mean, honestly, you could even go like Callista in this
Bingung
situation,
mid si
I
siapa
feel.
tuh lawan Lissandra. Cuma Syndra
They
sih
do kind of
pilihannya.
want
Apa dah?
damage. I mean, I know there's an Neferi, does do a lot, but Lissandra isn't a massive amount.
Oh iya, Galio sih bagus sih.
I guess so.
Galio,
Gonna go back to
Jarvan.
his roots here. Bit of a
Okay.
grit from
Galio is
Dura there
strong.
as well, as the Xayah is going to be locked away. No
Yeah,
ability to
it's
take away the
definitely gonna be
Rakan, as
Galio.
that Lulu is already locked in.
Yeah, so I mentioned the prospect of this, but I thought it wasn't something they'd definitely go for, specifically because you're into the Jarvan, but they end
Tuh
up
kan,
committing
top
anyway.
lane sama mid lane-nya harus champion
Xayah
early
Rakan
game
likely
soalnya.
gonna be the combo for Gen G.
Renekton bagus.
And we're going to see perfect pick up the Renekton into the Gnar. We've seen this matchup so many times. The Renekton does
mid
have that
sama
early
topnya harus
pressure, will
champion
get
early.
outskilled in the side lane. LCK Renekton's pretty good at applying that early pressure when Gnar's range is short. And now the mid lane pick for BDD.
And so the Ahri pick feels awkward, right? Lissandra often picked into the Ahri, so that doesn't feel like the way you want to go. Instead, gonna be
Oh wait, I forgot
more
about
focused on
Victor.
the later game
Okay,
team
Victor
fights
is
with
good.
a lot of scaling damage on this Victor.
Victor is good. Victor is good.
Victor in this situation, just play at a distance, be that secondary carry. But when they do inevitably just focus down aiming, ends up going for the Victor. So one little concern with that is that level 6, there was a lot of threat from that
Pretty,
enemy mid
bukannya
jungle.
late-nya
It's two
Victor ya.
targeted ults.
Victor
There's no outplay
maksudnya walaupun dia
potential
champion
if
late
they
game,
just
tapi
both press
laningnya
R
tuh
onto
gak
you,
lemah.
And you are on a mobile mid
Bisa
lane
nge-trade
mage,
kalau Victor.
that can be a bit vulnerable. So I think
You
for
can
Gen
trade
G,
with Victor on early
I
game.
think in terms of their composition, they have a lot of engage power on that mid jungle, but they need to get the ball rolling. These are both picks that kind of are feast or famine in the Neferi and the Lissandra. And you also, as much as you have the Xayah as like a late game carry, it's into Jarvan and Lulu. And if he just cataclysms you, and then there's a wild growth as well for follow-up, that can be a tough
But
time.
I don't think they're gonna win.
It's definitely not the easiest composition.
The problem
Gen
is
G to pilot.
Renekton
It's gonna
on
come a
late
lot down to
game
their
against
mid-jungle
Lissandra
being
is
successful. On the other side, I think it's just
nah,
scale up and play
gue
around
jujur gak
aiming,
bisa
being
lihat
strong,
skenario di
Victor
mana
being
Renekton
strong.
late game bisa
Make sure
menang
you don't
lawan
fall
Lissandra
prey to
sih.
early shenanigans from this
Jujurly.
Lissandra. And
But
the theory
we'll
is just
see.
don't fall behind too much for KT, and I think you should be strong.
We'll
in the team
see.
fight.
See what they can do here, as I think that this is a decent opportunity for KT to try and make their way back. You mentioned already, I think that as far as the draft is concerned, they are feeling pretty fantastic. So it has to be just that turnaround of momentum, right? So much of what happens in like situations where you're 0-2 down, it's not about the draft. It's about whether or not you can get your heads back into the game and make something happen. KT did so well in game
Gak
number
pernah
one.
ada yang pick Urgot sekarang. Ya loh, Urgot is pretty good, right? Renekton champion andalan perfect. Tapi ini ntar late game gimana loh? Lissandra susah tau lawannya.
All right.
How do you fight
Here we
against
are,
Lissandra with
potentially the
Renekton on
final
late game?
of this series. And just to remind everyone, the winner of this goes on to face T1 for the final ticket to Daejeon and to MSI. That is why we called this tournament Road to MSI, because afterwards you get to MSI.
Yeah.
Although actually, shouldn't we have renamed it? Because it looked like it's a train track to MSI.
Yeah.
Based on our little train. Not actually a road.
But also, last year, it was MSI was abroad, so.
Ah, true. So you'd have to take a plane.
Yeah, or a boat, I guess.
Yeah. So it's like, it's voyage to MSI.
Yeah.
Last year. Now it's like trained MSI.
Can you void
Renek ignore
on a
list.
boat?
Masalahnya nggak bisa. Kalau misalkan dia nge-ignore Lisanda juga, dianya bakal beku. Pas maju tuh beku Renektonnya. Jadi Renekton maju dia beku, dibekuin pakai ulti Lisanda. Susah anjir.
Dejan and they were getting on a train, wouldn't you be like, is that a voyage?
Yeah.
It does sound a bit weird.
Susah sih. Renekton bening speed push dah kata gue mah.
Because this is just a synonym to journey, you know?
It does feel like it has a more specific use case.
That's a very good point. That being said, Journey has put into my mind that KT fans need to not stop believing.
That's very true.
And we'll see whether they do.
We did see Cuz invading heavily, trying to challenge the Raptors, but missed out. And now Canyon has
Navi lagi meta ya. Itemnya lagi bagus buat Naviri sekarang.
He just immediately goes for the Krugs, which is kind of hidden. Can take this and should hit level 3 as well, so he needs to fight
Jungle S-tier dia, Naviri di apa? High tier, high elo.
Cuz gets the information, realizes that his Krugs are no longer there, and now Canyon actually wrapping around looking for BDD. BDD's wise to it and is going to be able to get back underneath his turret as Cuz still has an idea.
Gak ada yang berani nyoba Nidali top kah?
Canyon will finally back
Iya
away,
ya.
and it looks like
Kenapa gak main Nidali lawan Nar? Enggak sih, Nidali late game-nya jelek aja. Kayak Nidali late game-nya lebih parah daripada Renekton dah.
Perfect moves down though. That should mean that Rift Scuttler is going to go over to Cuz here on this top side.
I think the start was pretty good from Canyon, but I think he spent a lot of time hovering
Nidali
around.
tuh harus ahead. Jadi kalau dia behind lebih gak guna daripada Renekton pasti late game. Renekton minimal dia tebel lah.
And now you have a situation where Canyon really wants to be clearing through his jungle, which is obviously he's in a good position to get all those camps up. But for Cuz,
pasti
he
digeng terus
really
sih.
wants to get something done, whether it's get
Pasti
this
digeng
scuttle or
terus
get a
sampai
gank
pincang
off,
sih
because he
main
just
Kyle
doesn't
mah.
have much to do right now. And you can see
Soalnya Kyle gak bisa
beelining
kabur.
towards the bot side of the map.
Gak ada flash
Would love
digeng
to be able
lagi.
to get a gank in here onto Ruler or
Ada
Hero.
flash digeng, gak ada flash digeng.
You can see moving over towards that Tri-Brush now. As they're actually moving aggressively, it could be an opportunity for Cuz as he's now looking for the enemy Krugs. Canyon going to spot him here.
Yeah, Canyon now up in level. So, Cuz is actually smite
Harusnya ada
there and
kartus.
equalize.
Ada. Lu nonton matchnya Gam lawan lawannya apa ya waktu itu Gam ya? Waktu mereka kartus guys, lupa gua. Di Worlds 2023. Gam lawan apa sih? Lawan LCS ya?
If you played it a bit faster, but either way, both junglers in a fine position.
Yep, not doing too badly as the Gromp has now respawned over on Cuz's side. Head over there if he wants to, but the Raptors are going to be his priority. BDD having a very good time in this lane so far. And Chovy not going to be able to fully equalize the minions with a full clear on this one. As he does actually go in there.
Ow.
Yeah, that's
Kalau sama Flat itu bisa dibikin APC gak sih guys? Flat itu akhir-akhir ini gue nyadar ya, Flat itu counternya itu guys. Counternya Smolder anjir. Counternya Smolder tuh Flat kalau enggak Swain APC. Kalau di solo queue ya. It works though. You can play flat APC itu counternya Smolder.
Having a CC target to hit double daggers into. That feels like a lot of damage. And maybe not something that BDD can handle. Right now he is able to go back, grabs himself a lost chapter and feels very, very good about how the lane state is looking. Flash at the ready. And KT moving themselves into a slight advantage, but they also have a composition that scales like a fine wine. And I think that they are going to be feeling pretty happy with how this game is positioned right now.
Flat tuh counternya Smolder tuh gue liat-liat kalau di solo queue. Kalau bisa main Flat ya, gue mah kagak bisa aja.
As control ward, something that BDD does want to protect, but the death rate not going to land. Just be cleared out. Moving over, the Lulu has been one of his better picks in the past, as the Floor of Doom is not going to be fully followed there by Chovy, but gets him out of the gravity well. Canyon moves in. So Frozen Tomb at the ready here for Chovy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, will we get a contest in this dragon? But I think the ult from BDD forces Chovy back.
KT win? I mean,
Doomedy has done so many times
what
this
do you,
season. Moving
what
down
made you
when he
think
has
I mean gonna
Cryo.
win?
The bot lane Cryo as well means it's just first dragon pickup for KT. Chemtech Dragon as well, so no Chemtech Soul feels pretty good.
I mean, Aiming is pretty strong in Yunara. Overall.
As far like could be another ocean.
So far itu salah satu champion terbaiknya Aiming sih Yunara.
Pretty interesting as far as the dragon options. House goes wide. The Kane having a pretty good time in this matchup, although he is behind a little bit actually on farm. Things look like they're going way better for the Nar though, as far as how the play was looking in the trades. Stroby, yep, gonna have to claw his way out, and will be able to do so. Obviously, Lissandra not exactly picked for her prowess in the laning phase. It's a lot more about how you can set up fights and create space for especially Ruler
and you know,
try and dominate.
It was actually Lissandra that BDD played in Game 5 that upset last year in playoffs when KT took down Gen G.
Remuk tuh Lissandra laning lawan Victor. Iya, enak kan main Victor tradingnya.
Lissandra game I remember. When,
cuma nanti bisa gak nih Yunara carry late game?
BDD on the Hextech Soul. It was actually Ruler who went Callista in that game as well, I believe. Which is why it came up with a straight effect, so...
Yep. Has often been a pretty good option into that one. As Effort takes a lot of damage from Ruler here, playing with his feathers pretty effectively. A little bit of an advantage. I think that Aiming should be able to equalize pretty comfortably. Pops that Q. Everything is going to be all right, although he is taking a lot of damage here from this Xayah. Ruler is so incredibly
Ingat
aggressive.
Chovy tadi di babak tetap menang. Benar. Dia mainnya juga hard CC terus ini Chovy kagak ngaruh. Late game early mau dia behind nggak tetap fungsinya sama anjir. Hard CC. Mau dia fade, mau dia enggak, Lissandra mah kuat anjir. Mau fade atau tidak, fungsinya tetap sama, hard CC-nya ganggu parah. Kecuali
And now the last two grubs should be going over here as Slice Dice from Perfect. He has the dominance there as well. There's no hop left.
Masih ada flash, Skin masih ada flash.
He has flash, but so
Skin
does
masih ada
Perfect, and
flash.
he decides not to pull the trigger. Just pushes the Nar out of the way.
Forces him out of lane, doesn't have to burn his flash. I think if he goes for that, there's a risk Keen flashes too. He's happy just applying that pressure. We'll get a plate as well for his trouble. And remains healthy, which means even though Canyon's here, they cannot make a play onto this full health Renekton.
Yeah, Keen now able to at least walk up. That Narbar is in an okay spot, where he will be able to get a bit of health back, but it is still feeling worrying. As you can see why. Like, Perfect, happy to pick the Renekton into this matchup against the Nar that we have seen Nar picked into for so many years. The Renekton has been having a little bit of a resurgence in this one.
Absolutely. I feel like that's the thing, is like when we started the season, it was Nar being picked into Renekton and just having a great time, and then our top laners have just really been finding success on the Renekton in the early levels, even up to this point. And as much as the late scaling can come, there we go.
Frozen Tomb comes in, and now the combo.
Masih bisa sih harusnya. Alamak itu. Oke. Besok yang menang lawan T1. Yes. Berarti final besok final. Yang siapapun yang menang lawan T1 langsung ke MSI. Tomorrow is final, chat. Time just flew so fast. Perasaan baru kemarin di MSI. Final minggu depan ini Lord Bracket. Besok? Besok kocak? Nggak ada. Besok final anjir. What do you mean? Besok final. Nggak ada final di Road to MSI. Lawan T1 udah. Hanwalef nggak bakal lawan T1 lagi.
Yeah, the power of the ultimate so big there in this matchup as well, because it gives you that dash to outplay the feathers. And Aiming puts the pressure down.
Hanwalef udah lolos kayak misalnya. Nggak ada final LCK. Itu mah nanti kali di split 3. Di split 3 baru ada final.
Yeah, I mean if we look at the ultimates, the 3 that were burnt onto BDD should be up and available.
First 10 malah ada final, kocak kan finalnya itu Diablo lawan Genji. Di first 10 ada finalnya. Nggak ada. Season di split 2 nggak ada final. Jadi cuma ada lower.
I always associate it with Doinby. I feel like Doinby used to do this all the time, even in his first few years, where you just pick Victor and then ult wave, ult enemy, just ult for priority, and it's been happening from everyone ever since.
If I'm being honest, I feel like after last game when Chovy was just anti-ulting onto the BDD,
yeah,
kind of asking for it.
True.
We do have Psycho Sword came in for Canyon. This is a pretty big spike on the Fury.
Oh, this doesn't have
Baiklah,
his yet.
jelaskan siapa yang unggul.
Obviously doesn't never go.
Nggak ada yang unggul untuk saat ini. Untuk saat ini nggak ada yang unggul. Tapi Katie dapat objektif satu sih, itu doang unggulnya. Katie punya dragon, mereka dapat camp tag drag. Victor gak upgrade lasernya kah? Tadi dia upgrade apa dia? Bukannya tiap 100 stack ya?
Who presses a whole bunch of buttons, gets shielded up by Effort. Still has his barrier, but now doesn't have flash.
Oh, Chovy doesn't have TP though. He's recalling. He's gonna stick around. Aiming's a great target.
Belum 100 stacknya, masih 88.
Chovy can just go in, root him, and self-ult. He's fine.
Wild Growth is there for Effort, so maybe that's going to be an angle, but the Claw not going to be taken there, so Chovy just going to be backing away. And there is the Drake secured by KT. Another Mountain Soul this game.
Yeah, the TP is enough to ward them away. Keen's just going to pick up some pressure in the top lane, try and close that gap between him and Perfect.
Cara tahu tag dari mana sih? Ada sebenarnya di kiri layar, tapi agak ketutupan di gua. Di kanan nih, di kanan.
So much time to KT, even though it's even in gold. The fact they have two dragons, Soul is so far away. If it's going to be Gen G's, and if it's KT's, then that's a whole another problem.
Well, Ruler has a decent advantage as far as money and plates are concerned. Has actually taken one towards that bottom side. Aiming now, parking himself in the top lane as we do see Cuz looking for an angle towards Canyon, Keen, and Duro. And Aiming is rotating around now. That is Duro getting over there. The polymorph doesn't really do too much though, as he'd already made it out. So KT just trying to put on as much pressure as they can. Does really feel like they've moved to the
biasanya
front
build-nya
foot
Napir
as
itu
we
Black
have
Cliff
entered
terus
this mid-game now.
Apa kemarin tuh?
Perfect here. This bottom lane
Fall
just trying
tag,
to
Black
deal
Cliff
with Chovy
sama
as best he can. A little bit
si
more
Sojin ya. Shojin.
Yeah, so much spam from Lissandra. It's not doing a ton of damage to him, but it is just annoying.
Yep, not to mention she yells at you all the time.
Yeah. Also very difficult to ever really pressure him as a Renekton. So because kind of being annoying right now. Very specifically
and successful.
Sojin kepake terus ya. Sojin bagus banget anjir, buat Ambessa juga bagus. Kalau lawan komposisi musuh yang kira-kira warnya bakal lama, Sojin kepake banget. Kalau warnya yang gak all in tuh kayak masuk maju mundur gitu. Kamu prefer Genji apa Katie menang deh? Katie lah. Siapa yang mau lihat orang farming 40 menit 5 match anjir kayak gini? Who the heck gonna watch this?
And we now have the Mikhail for Effort, so the Lissandra value has just immediately dropped.
Ezreal aja bikin Sojin kan?
That being a thing.
Ezreal bikin Sojin, Ambessa Sojin, Apiri Sojin.
Fed enough because the damage is still there when you do your combo, but when you're not ahead of the curve and you pop your ultimate and it just instantly gets cleansed, it's gonna feel way worse for Chovy.
Oh, there is the frozen tomb. Claw actually doing a lot of work here.
Itu gugup nongol dari mana, Cok?
Ults for the finish.
Where's that dog coming?
Perfect does get a bunch of his health back there with the Kuldamik, but that is still going to be
Where's the
killed.
dog coming
Going
from?
over to the Nefiri, and first blood finally here at 15 minutes.
Bit of a slow starter. We will see KT in response get some damage onto this tower and take a lot of gold into Aiming's pockets. We do see the response is going to be Chovy on the other side of the map, but a lot slower.
Kayaknya Sojin itu Ripmaker buat AD.
And the Herald is bonus for KT.
Iya ya. Iya, Ripmaker buat AD mah itu Kraken Slayer gak sih?
As that is going to be Aiming now securing that turret like you were talking about, and closes the gap between himself and Ruler pretty considerably. Ruler also taking some harassment here from BDD on this Victor, who has had a relatively quiet game so far. But we know the damage potential of this Victor is going to be very, very high. Not to mention the resets, expanding his storm,
15 menit baru first blood,
getting a whole lot of
aman.
value as this game goes
Bahkan
on.
waktu itu Hanwha Live versus Genji 1 jam baru first blood. Dan kau tahu apa yang terjadi habis first blood? Baron terus N anjir. Match paling tolol. Itu waktu Peanut masih ada tuh. Genji lawan apa? Genji lawan Hanwha Live. 1 jam baru first blood, abis itu langsung end game anjir. Abis first blood, what the fuck?
Apart from Keen, because I think Keen's always feeling Keen.
True.
That's my
Game
last
paling
one.
ngakak, cok.
Yeah, I'll try to stop with the dad jokes as best I can. I cannot.
It's in your
really help.
nature.
I
know.
can't. Yeah, I can't help my status.
You even have an excuse now.
I know. Although I don't think anything would have changed whether or not I had become a father, regardless. But Genji, now just trying to play some defense. It's KT, just searching for cracks. You know, trying to get in there, trying to make something happen.
Kalau ranked mah 2 menit ada first blood. Jangankan 2 menit, 1 menit support gua udah dive in, cok.
That's the big thing.
First blood.
All summoners are available apart from Keen's Flash. And for Genji,
kalau nggak top lane lawan Timo. Top lane gua ketemu Timo. Belum 1 menit udah first blood. First blood.
Really important.
Why did Keen's Flash just go on cooldown?
I think that must be a spectator, bro. It was on cooldown before.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
All right. It looked like he just flashed.
I did just say everyone has a flash apart from Keen.
Yeah.
And if you look, it's also like
it's going faster than it should. Yeah. Okay. That was a little bit
visual error. But Genji, want to find good backline access. They do have a ward actually behind. You can see near the mid tower. This is like a prime TP flank ward. You can see right next to Cuz there. So if KT overextend, that's what they might pounce on.
Oh, Canyon looking for a little bit of an angle here, but doesn't find any of the daggers. And it looks like Genji not going to be able to remove this control ward that has been holding a lot of power for KT. Being able to
udah 100 stack tuh si Victor. Victor udah 100 stack.
Does have some feathers down now, but you can see aiming. I think he's ready. I think he feels like he wants to have a bit of a fight now.
Yeah, remember there's a Herald as well for KT. It's like a bonus.
Entah tuh apa yang dia evolve.
Battle Herald has potential. Could also just throw it down mid to force Genji to respond.
Cuz now just going to be throwing flags around. Effort taking a lot of damage from these little doggos.
Yeah. I gotta say, Canyon is pretty farmed, pretty far ahead of Cuz. Level 12 on the Neferi.
Ooh, Chovy does get the circle down. There's a Cataclysm Wild Growth combo as Cuz immediately gets out of there. Interruption on the grand entrance is
BDD
decent.
is really good.
McHale's immediately, like you were talking about.
BDD is a chat.
Just going lower and lower as there is the Featherstorm.
BDD is Giga
the
chat.
Arc of Ruin, but it is not enough to get any kills. Still, they push Genji away, but KT are also looking a little worse for wear, even if they do get control of the pit.
Crazy that no one died in that passage of play, but Genji getting focused down first. They're trying to contest this though. Canyon.
Yeah, dealt with the Slurkle. He's in here a little early, you could say.
Oh my god, Chovy is here. BDD! Come on, BDD!
He's coming on over. That is going to be the
Laser Dam!
Genji.
Laser Dam!
Soul point from KT
for Arcane. Let's go, BDD!
He gets the claw down, disappears. And now BDD wanting to find more. Is the death ray going to be there? The grand entrance. Just a hero. And he does save Chovy, but Duro dies in the process.
Now Keen and Canyon looking though.
Yeah, Gravity Well does come on through here as Canyon bounces off the
Where's
wall.
my
Gravity
support?
not doing much of anything
Where
at
the
all.
fuck is my
As the hype
support?
proc starting to come in and maybe KT overextension has begun as Chovy gets his immediate revenge, although he doesn't get the assist.
Effort. I mean, honestly, why not? Why not?
You could see BDD frustrated that they weren't able to get more kills on that fight, and he burns his flash to make that play happen, which is just a 1-for-1. This is after the initial fight has already happened, which was super close. The Combat Herald gets thrown down because
I mean, fair enough.
Smite and using that as an out, but in the end, the Smite comes through, and Genji just disengaged. BDD trying to kill Chovy here.
I mean, fair enough.
Oh no, the aiming face check as, you know, he tried to press open barrier and stuff like that and get himself out of the way as there's the reset as Canyon looks for some daggers onto Effort, who almost just dies from
not
the
gonna lie,
hit.
I think it's a 3-0.
At this point,
yeah.
with the Cyclo Sword Black Cleaver, you're so strong on Neferi. The cooldowns extremely low, you just flip every 3 seconds.
Yeah, bouncing around the battlefield.
Yeah, you have the Shred and that percentage HP damage on the Cyclo Sword. He's so strong right now, and if he targets aiming, if he targets BDD, and they go down, I feel like KT's chances of winning a fight just plummet.
Already looking worrying here as the flash out from Ruler. Cataclysm from Flash. KT will take that
Maksudku
one, but
ya udah
there is
sih,
still a lot
lumayan
further
dapat
up
flash
to go.
anjing.
Yeah, good summon of the bin.
Oh, dear. Wait. Solidarity, I guess, from aiming support.
Choco!
Guys, that brush isn't worth it.
Yeah, let's not go into that brush anymore, KT.
I don't know what the obsession is, but whatever it is,
You're
it's just,
out.
it's not
You're
worth it.
I dropped my candy. I dropped my candy in that brush. Evan, could you go get it for me? As Chovy going to be able to claw his way out of here. That is going to be the tower falling down in mid lane and the whole map opening up for Gen G. Oh dear. Maybe Pony wasn't correct. Maybe I'm understanding why it's so hard to explain.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh no. Does come on in as the Frozen 2
Oke,
down
aman,
as
ada
well.
dulu.
And Mikhail's is
Oh,
moving forward.
maybe?
His aiming is looking for an
Awas,
opportunity
hati-hati.
here as Ruler off to the side. Death Ray not going to quite do enough there, but at least Chovy's going to get pushed away.
You know what I find really interesting?
What do you find really interesting?
Is that we've had Lissandra.
Biasanya agak
come
gini
quite
guys,
heavily back
effort
in the
man-nya
meta.
guys.
Not so much.
Yeah, what
has
has happened to him?
All the pros playing it, but the build is
Disogok,
Blackfire
anjir.
Torch, Rocket Belt, then Imperial Mandate. You don't get Imperial Mandate till third.
Yeah.
So Chovy, this is just normal Lissandra. Nothing's changed.
It's
I mean, he has been playing good than effort ever was right now.
It's different.
And also it adds vulnerability, right? So
Don't put highly Sam to effort, please.
And I think it's kind of cool that even though he's the only magic source, it's still fine. You know, like some other builds can feel a little bit awkward because like Black Cleaver, for example, and then you've got a bunch of magic damage dealers and you're like, well, what am I doing this for? Whereas
Effort hari ini ngebuat itu ya apa?
damage in general.
I think today's effort make Peter look like a god, honestly. Dude, it would be better if we have Peter right now.
And Chovy is just kind of messing with them.
Effort is making Peter look like a god.
Canyon goes up into the sky to try and avoid the Arcane Storm, but BDD still doing a lot of damage here. As there's the knock up onto Duro. Cuz looking for the angle there, but he's got Battle Dance. I think Duro's going to be just fine.
I don't think Canyon is.
Canyon is. Yeah, I think he might just be very dead.
Kasih aiming.
There's a cute little polymorph, and that is BDD locking down the kill.
I feel like the Fury is one of these champions where you're so mobile, so hard to pin down, that it just makes you think there's no way they could ever catch me, even if I'm at the enemy Krugs. And then
Fraudest team of history versus fraudest team of today.
This happened yesterday as well.
Both are fraud. What do you mean?
Yeah, Krugs were a difficult part of the map yesterday.
Specifically a road to MSI, Krugs are a focal point. And it feels like they're buffed.
Yeah.
We had that last year as well.
So fantastic that in the final series we have the Krug Lord waiting.
Oh, yeah.
When yesterday it did feel a little bit like Ona was trying to steal his title. Chovy clears out that wave and will be now going back. We'll see how close to the Imperial Mandate he is. But 2 seconds on this Dragon, another soul point attempt for KT.
Oh, he went straight for the Seek's Arm Guard. He wants power now.
I'll see whether he can find it. Aiming on this Dragon, charging up that Q quite nicely is Keen.
Oh, aiming udah lumayan gacor sih. Ultinya kecepatan gak sih? Buset! Kin died no? Aiming udah ngaceng banget sih. Go! Oh, aiming! Kenapa Chovy yang dapat cuy? What do you mean? What do you mean Chovy get it? What is perfect mean?
Is the target.
Oh, maybe. Are we? Can we get excited? Can we get excited? Can we get excited? That's Baron. That's Baron.
And BDD just opened the
door
to a Baron.
That's Baron. Right?
A critical error from Ruler. The feather storm in the wrong direction allows KT to chase, to approach with no threat, and they manage to clean up the kills. And now looking for Canyon. If they can deny him, the Baron is free. They get some good pokes out on the BDD, and is that enough? Is it enough to roll them away from the objective?
Right.
Or are they just going to TP back in with full health bars? That's the question.
Yeah.
No, I think they back off.
No.
All right, let's have a look at this fight one more time.
So Keen's on the cusp of Meganar, and he's ready to go with this. We initially get the Cataclysm onto Chovy, which feels like a weird target priority. Keen jumps in and then just gets shredded down. After he goes for the ultimate, he gets focused down after that. Chovy then securing the Dragon and buying a ton of time here basically allows him to pull off a heist because he can disengage out of this with his
Gua
flash.
ngerti kenapa
But then
ruler ultinya ke
here
belakang. Soalnya posisi ruler tuh lagi ngeklik ke sini mouse-nya. Jadi kursor dia tuh kursor dia tuh lagi lari, guys. Kan kalau posisi lu lari, kursornya di sini kan. Ngarah ke situ kan. Jadi ya arah ultinya ngikutin arah kursor lu, kocak.
But they do have positional advantage around the area as that ward is going to get swept. Mortal Reminder is now completed.
And yeah, that's a mistake.
But there is, oh man, we are so close to an Infinity Edge, and I think Aiming has it as he is going to go back to base now. So there is the IE. 3 items apiece for both of our carries, but it does feel like Aiming does so
Intinya mah
much if he
udah
can ever
tua.
actually hit squishies.
Bawa-bawa
And
umur
everyone
ya.
is kind of a
Nggak
squishy
boleh gitu
on
loh.
Genji's side. So it feels very good to be the Yunara at this point in the game. And I do feel like Aiming has been probably one of our most, if not the most, successful Yunara players this season.
Yep, definitely remember that pentakill he got earlier in the season.
Yeah. So certainly in a great position to carry this one. 1,000 gold, still the lead for Genji, though.
It still feels so delicate. It's only 1,000 gold lead, 2 dragons apiece, so Soul is miles away. And both teams, I mean, Azaya is always going to be strong, but you're under threat because the Jarvan. The Neferi is very strong, but might have a tough time in this composition. But this Victor and Yunara just
Yang menang ini
scaling
lawan
up to be
T1
absolute
besok kan.
monsters.
Top to depan final. Enggak. Besok udah selesai. Tinggal nunggu MSI. Besok lawan T1 dan udah selesai. Tinggal nunggu MSI. Tidak ada LCK final.
I guess extra like fun defensive stats. And the Claw going to come on through there, but Cuz able to walk himself out of the way, so it's not going to be a target.
Extra fun defensive stats.
You know, it's just, it still does a positive offensive thing, but you can just get some for fun defensive stats. It's not a defensive item, it's got some fun defensive stats. As Canyon is going to have to play some for fun defensive, get out of there, and does do that. Goes up into the sky and escapes.
Udah ada juaranya. Yang juaranya berarti Hanwha Life. Hanwha Life rank 1 LCK. Mereka seed 1. Bisa dibilang yang menang LCK split 2 ya berarti ya Hanwha Life.
Would you say that's a pure defensive item? No. Exactly.
Walaupun gak ada trofinya.
Bit more fun. Does also do some damage. So that is going to be a steal here for Canyon. Ults in on top of Cuz. Perfect is there, trying to play some defense, but Cuz has to flag and drag his way out. Then takes the wrong way around these wolves as Ruler gets Arcane Storm.
Lanjut LPL gak abis ini? Gua nonton tapi kayaknya gak live, guys. Capek. Mau rebahan, mau tiduran nontonnya di sofa.
I was thinking maybe KT sweep in and not start the Baron, but get control of the area, but a reset comes through instead. Maybe we're out of wards. Actually, Dragon up in 30 seconds, so that'll be the priority for now. But a tense game at this point.
All right, only 1,000 gold in it, and at 30 minutes, that means less than nothing.
Canyon is going to move up and get some vision in the Baron area before they move over to Dragon. KT make their way straight there. And it does put things in a little bit of a delicate spot.
Victor bukannya gak ada damage ya, kok dipakai? Sakit Victor ultinya. Gak ada damage cina. Sakit jir, Q-nya sakit. Ulti sakit.
This is where the vision is for Genji with that control ward down. They also have the irremovable vision here from the Rift Scuttler that now just dissipates.
Mountain Soul lagi.
Just clearing out mid wave. Just have TP. He's a little late.
Bisa agak ini kalau dapat Mountain Soul lumayan sih bisa ngebantu Renekton sih late gamenya. Kalau KT bisa dapat. Bisa ngebantu Renekton banget ini.
As BDD, be careful, he's going rogue. The rest of Genji now holding onto the Drake. They do not let it reset as now the predominance here from Perfect as he gets into the back of the pit. Duro going to be his target, at least for the moment.
Why, Naganya? Why, Naganya?
That is Soul Point over to Genji. The flash out of his own Cataclysm for Cuz. But now the AoE flies forward. Aiming was free hitting. He gets ulted by Keen and then just dashes away. Flashes out, but it's the Lulu that goes down first. Aiming trying his best to get this damage down as he dashes in on top of Keen and then is immediately punished by Chovy.
Triple kill bangkit.
Kill for the Lysandra and KT. They still have BDD. There's still a lot of damage, but they've only gotten 1 kill so far in this fight. Canyon goes up into the sky and Perfect and BDD not enough to take him down.
such a precarious
Dikacangin
fight there. I feel
naganya,
like
anjir.
Cuz's ultimate, the Cataclysm, got so much value trapping Chovy and Keen, but it just wasn't quite enough. Their focus was so heavily on aiming, not allowing him to play the game. And Gen G able to not only secure the dragon, but get a convincing fight win as well.
Man,
Where is your scaling champ? I mean doing pretty well. Is this Chovy so strong? Chovy si OP
really
banget
funny
ya.
how it pans out because Chovy goes in after the polymorph.
Yeah,
is already
Chovy so strong. I mean doing that pretty well.
And end up trapped.
It's just Chovy too strong.
Arcane Storm, yeah. And then Canyon has to dip
I mean
away
it's
low
good.
HP. But we see the quickness from Duro, occupying time allows Chovy
See?
to move up, then Keen gets some damage down. It's just the juggling of health here that
Chovy
allows
is
Lula
too
to push
strong.
forward and finish off the enemy AD carry. Their focus point was so much on aiming.
Ultilisanya bisa di counter Quicksilver gak? Bisa.
Things
Bisa
could have
aja.
gone a little bit different, and that could have been KT's
Tapi
team
mahal
fight.
si Quicksilver.
Well, let's see whether
Agak-
KT can
agak
make something
mahal,
happen
BTW.
now, as they have moved to a pretty considerable deficit, and that is Mountain Soul Point for Gen G with triple mountains already stacked up. I mean, if you thought that they didn't have a tank before, which is something that I actually said, I think everyone's a tank now.
Yeah, I mean,
so never mind.
Canyon has a QSS and 105 magic resist.
Iya, abis cancel CC apa? Dipukulin sama Nar, di ulti sama Napiri, terus mati. Udah mah mahal, cuma cooldownnya lama.
Yeah.
Abis kena CC dipukulin anjing.
So definitely getting a lot of value. Duro also buying the new buff Knight's Vow.
Yeah. As is Zeke's already. That's all right, Chovy. Very safe as the Lissandra. Can just claw your way out of almost any situation.
And right now, KT in a delicate spot because aiming no flash. Ruler still has his. You can't just Cataclysm the enemy's Zaya. And aiming can definitely be a focused target.
So, komposisinya juga gak ada yang bisa bikin spell shield siapa? Jarvan gak bikin Edge of Night dah. Renekton apalagi?
33 armor with just plated steel caps is a little bit insane.
Yeah.
Lagian Lulu udah bikin Michael sih.
So feeling pretty good about that one. Canyon gonna look to try and start up
Lulu
this
ada Michael kok.
Baron by the
Jadi
looks of
harusnya
things.
Lulu
And yeah,
deket
there are feathers being
Lissandra
thrown
terus
at
sih.
it as we speak.
Jadi dia bisa bantu teman.
They do a lot of damage. It's Cuz flagging a dragon towards Duro as Chovy now holding perfect in place. Will be able to get himself out of there. Effort is moving over. Does have the polymorph in hand. Let's see
Ini
whether they can
angle-nya
lock him down the
bagus sih.
flash forward.
Cepetan,
And
cepetan,
Perfect
cepetan,
looks to try and take him
cepetan.
out, but he can buy
Do
so much
something.
time for himself.
Quick.
Frozen Tomb does come down, and there's a Ring of
Eish.
Frost as well as the rest of Gen G. They're going to show up in time, and Perfect desperation as he dives forward. And now Keen takes matters into his own hands. A double for Ruler, who's yelling Penta, Penta, Penta. He'll take the triple, at least for now, as PDD and Effort need to escape to try and
Baik
deny
ternyata.
all of them being on the floor. As
Ternyata
Gen G
Chovy baik.
looking for
Dia
another
ada
date
ulti,
at
anjir.
MSI and another date with T1 in order to get there.
And KT think they've caught Chovy, but he's able to buy so much time in this
Chovy be like,
situation. Perfect trying to get on top of him. Not the easiest thing to do as a Renekton, but they're moving over. And it's just buying so much time in the situation. Doesn't use his stasis really because
Not
he waits
for
for
me,
everyone else to get
cenah ge.
range.
Oh,
Self-hold,
rata
interrupt the
kalian.
bounce. Even had the Zonya still, but dashes away. And the other thing that's huge here
Gak
is
jadi kena
the wild
geng
rush
Chovy,
both
Cok.
interrupt the Neferi. Duro's so patient with his grand entrance. He waits until aiming dashes and then instantly locks him down. The follow-up is there from Keen. And aiming goes
Thank you,
down
pindah
once
LPL.
again. Gen
Sudah
G,
boleh pindah sih.
8,000 gold lead. And so close to taking that final Nexus of the day.
Yeah, and this was looking so incredibly close. It was down to the wire, and now it is anything but that. This is a ridiculous lead that Gen G have built up for themselves. The Rebel Bound power play is only at 1,500 for
Chovy is
the
not
moment.
Chovy
They've wiped
anymore.
out every
Dude, he's a
single
fucking
outer
tuna
turret.
right now. Heck yeah, a
And
whale
the
even.
inhibitors are the only things still defended so far for KT, who are now
Yeah,
circling
MVP
the
Chovy.
drain. Canyon going to be taking down this dragon, and that is going to be Mountain Soul with quad Mountain Drakes. And I'd say that that is probably a decent way to win the game.
It's pretty good. It's pretty nice. It's
pros column. Put that one in the pros column.
For sure. It's going to make it very hard for KT, who already has such a deficit, to cut through these members of Gen G.
All right, looking for the angle.
Okay, Cast just send it. No damage. Where is the damage, chat? Where the fuck is the damage?
As he self-ults onto the turret, they take down effort, but Giroux's dead as
Bentar,
well.
wait a minute. Hold the line. Wait a minute. We are there. Could be. Wait a minute. I saw something.
Left alive, and maybe we spoke a little too soon about KT's demise.
Hold up.
And Gen G think they found the turnaround play after they go for the engage onto Rula, but Rula just steps up a little too far.
Mountain Zone?
And they end up getting punished in that situation. KT able to at least buy some time on this game. We'll see the replay. This was a full commit here to try and make sure Rula cannot press R. The flag and drag into Flash and then the immediate polymorph, but they're able to peel for him. But then they play so far forward, Rula steps up and ends up getting clipped there by the laser into the follow-up from Cuz to take him down. And without that Zaya,
BDD is basically giving up on Cuz, katanya. Cuz, gue udah gak percaya sama lu. Let's go full pen. Cuz, I just never trust you from to begin with. I just gonna full penetration build, even though I'm using DFT right now.
It's very frightening though. 4-1 and 5. And almost has his death cap completed for item number 4.
The one thing of that last fight is even though it stopped the Baron push from Gen G and it bought some time, it didn't drastically change the state of the game. Still a Mountain Soul of Gen G, still 8,000 gold lead. And Ruler, Chovy, and Canyon still have flashes. We have no flashes on the side of KT. So it's going to be a delicate position because we've seen how laser-focused Gen G are on punishing.
Report mid, Maling Blue.
That flash available, it's going to be an even easier target. And you can't just Cataclysm Ruler in response and expect that to win you the fight. This is the delicate point of the game for KT. And obviously the series as well.
Exactly. Remember, this is, if you want to go to Daejeon, and this is what you have to overcome. KT, they lose this, they are just going straight home. No more MSI prospects, no date with T1 tomorrow. Gen G, they'll be the ones that have to contend with that one as Chovy actually goes in.
Chovy!
Frozen Tomb on a Cuz, does get Mikhail.
Oh, Michael cooldown.
Will be able to get himself out of there.
Mikhail cooldown.
A pretty short cooldown at this stage.
Chovy juga gak ada ulti, cooldownnya cepet banget, anjing. Berapa detik itu? 30?
Cooldown as it could be otherwise, but still not the longest. But that Void Staff and the Zhonya's
udah ada lagi tuh ultinya Chovy pas Dragon Shock. Mungkin sekarang bisa, nggak ada ultinya sekarang. Nggak bisa, anjing. Fuck lah.
It's a good trade for KT, getting the flash out of him.
No flash though.
Was down, but it's a pretty short cooldown. It's something. You're eating away at these resources from the opposite side. And even though Lissandra has a lot of built-in safety, the flash can be used to combo
itu
so
mau
well
full crit.
with her other abilities.
Itu kan build-nya emang.
KT are in a dire
Emang
spot.
apa lagi
Anything
build-nya?
they can burn before this next Baron, next Elder Dragon, will be a big boon, making it a lot easier. Got BDD who's also completed Rabadons at this point, so his damage is very much online.
Yeah, it's absolutely obscene. And now has another needlessly large rod as well.
Ada zonnya ulti proto, udah jangan ngincer Chovy. Never mind, benar sekali dia punya zonnya, lupa gue.
But it's 2 minutes. And honestly, it does, even though it's an 8,000 gold lead, even though there's a Mountain Soul,
dukung KT kayak saatnya dukung Genji, apa kayak dukung Genji. Kalau di World gue dukung Genji guys, not gonna lie, not gonna lie. Kalau di World gue dukung Genji. Tapi tiap gua dukung kalah Genji-nya, cok. Do you know what that means? Is this what you... Am I struggling from success or what?
Genji are still in a great spot, don't get me wrong. Chovy just picked up a Rabadons there. Stole the Dark Seal for it, so feeling pretty good about that. And don't get me wrong, Genji are very
Kemarin dukung KT pas di World lah, kan karena lawannya T1. Kalau Genji yang lolos mah gua dukung Genji.
Damage from KT that can be turned around because even though they're really far behind in gold, the carries have items. It's 5 items for aiming, 4.5 for
Kamu
BDD.
Jinx kayak, bukan, aku kayak
They
deh.
have the damage to dish out. It's just having the freedom to do so when they're under such threat.
Now KT Moving up this mid lane.
Awas,
Cuz
Jovi.
might be in a little bit of trouble. Does get snared momentarily as
BDD just BDD just said
looking for
it.
that arcane storm. It hasn't really done anything outside of get
Nothing
rid of the
happening.
mountain shield. As now the ulti comes
Jovi
forward
is
from Canyon
here.
as well. As he gets
Oh
it on
no,
top,
Keen
the
is here.
follow-up is very, very late. And
Keen
now
is here,
Keen from
Joe.
that top
Keen is
side
here, Joe.
finally shows up as Chovy gets that claw forward but does not follow it in. And KT, I don't know whether they're exactly unhappy with how this one went. Ult for ult is going to be
Tumben
betrayed.
Genji gak pakai meta 4 tank.
Now the
4
Baron is
mountain
being
sih
started
sama
up
aja
by
ya.
Genji, even though KT knows
They have 4
it's going to
mountain
be so hard for them to do
soul.
anything about it as the claw is not going to be followed once again. Gone. Perfect gets in there. And there is
so,
the Baron.
it's so
It's just
fast.
gone.
Just gonna
Genji,
done.
take it.
I will say Baron not the biggest concern when Elder is on the card, so KT will back away here and try and regain control.
Gak berdamage anjing mountain soul-nya,
You
Cok.
cannot lose anyone though, otherwise it's just going to be free Elder. Is perfect, he might be going down. Canyon managing to land those daggers, slicing and dicing.
What is Cuz doing?
Oh, Cuz trying to get himself out of there. He flashes to get away. There are 2 GAs, so these low health members will keep themselves alive. But they do want to take those big cooldowns.
Maybe yes, maybe no, 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 maybe yes, maybe no.
And Ruler and Chovy and Keen, I think they're just going to try and look to end the game because they've lost their smite and Elder is up.
BDD walking forward, looking for Ruler here.
Oh
maybe
my
yes,
goodness,
maybe
this
no.
is so precarious. This is so awkward because Genji have just kind of
Malah tukeran rumah anjing. Elder free Elder.
Before respawns come in.
Malah tukeran rumah anjing.
Should be able to defend this top inhibitor. 2 down. It's not good, but it's not the end of the game.
Okay, we got Elder.
And they
We got
now
Elder.
have the Elder secured, which it's a big boost in power. Can they make use of it in this next 2 minutes 20 though is the big question. Disrespect of the Victor's damage and the Chaos Storm, because they've been a lot of tools trying to take out Perfect, and if they get him into his GA, he's sitting dub.
Except Cuz, itu blast code-nya Cuz agak sas, but they doing pretty well on this war. Okay, KT, perfect dodge Chovy.
Damage down. My lord! Maybe they thought it was still not available yet, but he kills 2. Canyon goes down before really using anything, and then Ruler has to run away.
Come on, KT, bring it on!
Yeah, the double
You
reset
can do
actually
it!
kind of gigantic. Poor BDD, able to really boost
Yang
up
lempar nar, walah.
So,
Chaos Storm, formerly now Arcane Storm.
This is one problem, is that KT have Elder Dragon and absolutely win a fight if they take one right now.
Yes.
But Genji have Baron and 2 super minion waves
Renektonnya full tank ini.
and will not fight you.
Yeah, feels like an absolute stalemate, and we're just
Renekton
gonna have
is
to wait
full
until
tank.
the next Baron and Elder are available.
Yeah, it has bought time for KT, but Genji have that permanent buff off the Mountain Dragon, which they feel very good about.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of wave clear that they can do pretty safely with the Zaya and the Lissandra just to thin it out. Might have to give up this tier 2. I think that's going to be the cost in this situation, but it's not exactly a huge... Oh, Keen might be more of a cost.
He is going to be put into the Cataclysm, has to
I mean, they
flash
have
himself out of
Elder.
the way as there is the
There's
claw
no
from
way they
Chovy, but he
lost,
ain't
right?
taking that one. That is a little bit too scary as BDD breaks that
Come on,
Chrysalidos
one
burst,
more
does a lot
minute.
of damage there to the turret.
So as much as the flash going down seems bad for Genji, it actually distracted KT away from the tower, and it meant they have to wait for another wave. It's just buying more and more time. The tower's going to go down
30
anyway.
detik lagi.
They are stalling
Bagus sih,
KT
tapi
out
ini
as well as they can. The
goldnya
Baron buff is gone,
shifting sih,
so they
shifting sih.
don't have that available.
Sedikit,
But it's
walaupun
30
sedikit, the gold is
seconds.
shifting.
There's just one more wave coming in that KT have to play with, and it looks like they're not even going to sit
Fuck.
around and wait for that.
Okay.
The Elder has been timed out. The gold lead is closed by 1,000, and KT, despite getting that all-powerful buff, haven't
The gold
been able
lead
to
is
translate
shifting.
too much on-
Fuck!
No, it's
Fuck! Fuck!
He's not able to get over the wall, but he's
Fuck!
still able to do a lot
Fuck!
of damage before he dies.
An actual fuck Chovy triple stun.
Massive frozen tomb on himself. He goes golden as well.
That was fuck, by the way.
Everyone does make themselves scarce, gets out of the way, but the Lulu not going to survive.
That is fucked.
Aiming, trying to fight this one as he does kill the doggo.
BDD,
but now
what
everyone
the
else
fuck?
is dead. And Aiming will be able to chase down Duro potentially. The Ruler will be there with the damage. And Aiming just realizing that he has to try and do this one
actually
by
fucked.
himself. Chovy teleports to the enemy base.
I-
and he's
oh
gonna
my
look
God.
to finish this one once and for all. A 3-0 for Genji off the back of this man in the mid lane. Oh my goodness, Genji!
I mean, I cannot
What a
predict this.
performance in the end there. They may have lost the Elder Drake.
I do say
but surely
it's
knew
3-0
how to take it
Genji,
back. And that's
but-
a 3-0 domination
Yep.
from Genji
I
here
still
today.
hate Genji.
There was definitely moments throughout these games where KT put up resistance and were able to fight it out, but the end result is a convincing 3-0.
Yeah, I cannot predict it's 3-0 Genji, but
was there from this team.
I didn't expect to
And the
be
top
this
side, I felt,
bad.
were absolutely on fire when it came to this series.
Yeah, and I have to say, even though there was no Imperial mandate, there's none
Dan
of the new
besok
tech
adalah
for
hari
Lissandra.
terakhir untuk
The way
LCK.
Chovy played out those
Obviously,
last
we're
few
going
team
to
fights
watch
was
that tomorrow,
absolutely
chat.
magical.
So he found this big
Thank you guys for
three-man
watching.
combo, won the
Kita
game.
tidak perlu
And
prediksi
then game
siapa
restarted.
MVP-nya. Udah Chovy, udah pasti Chovy. Gak usah nebak-nebak,
So
MVP-nya udah
Genji
pasti
will be
Chovy.
making it
Thank you
that
guys
El
for watching. Don't forget to
Clasico
follow
against
my Twitter and
T1.
Instagram. Links in the
Almost do
description.
seem to
Bye
lead
bye.
To Genji versus T1 in the end. It's what we kind of thought was going to happen at last year. It did not.